Here we go. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Sports Gaming Anonymous podcast. I am Flash, aka Ree, aka whatever. With me today is Dre Wingate, the best producer in the business. What's up? How you feeling?
What up? Feeling pretty good. A little tired, but
A little tired. Got the hoodie on. Okay, I see you.
Yeah, you know, I gotta get the hair done, and I can't
short
let the
sleeve
world
hoodie.
see this.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that. We're not gonna talk about that. We got my man Slaydro here, the fastest man you never heard of. What's up?
What's going on? Kind of hurt right now. Lakers just took an L. Pelicans lost by like 50 today. My Nuggets lost today. All my teams just took L's today, so I'm kind of hurting.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that because I was gonna bring something up before, but I'm like, does any of this really matter? Because here's the thing. For me, I'm like, with all these guys that aren't playing, so many guys are like, "Oh, I'm not playing," or they're out the bubble, in the bubble, wherever they at. I'm like whoever comes out on top of this, like, what is the history book gonna like? What is it gonna mark for this NBA season? Like, it's gonna be there's gonna be like 6 asterisks like next to the team name that wins this year.
I already know how it's gonna go. See, the narrative is gonna be painted for it. It's whoever wins. So based on the person, if the Lakers win, no asterisk for me. Celtics win, big asterisk. Like no
asterisk. Like, if the Celtics win, no asterisk.
It all depends on what team wins and who. If you're a fan of them, like, bro, I think if LeBron win this ring, the debates are gonna just be. It's gonna be wild. Oh, the Jordan fans, the Kobe fans. So does he really have 4? He has 3. It's gonna be.
And I think the other thing is kind of the opponent. Now, and we all are expecting the Lakers and Clippers to meet in the Western Finals. So if they meet in Western Finals, we'll know because no one on those teams opted out or anything like that. So we know they'll be good.
Yeah. Clippers a little short though. But they short players. They didn't opt out. But how many guys from those teams who say they didn't want to play?
He just wanted some wings.
Avery Bradley, right?
Yeah, Avery Bradley was the biggest one for the Lakers.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Bradley did.
Best perimeter defender. That's actually a big loss.
Yeah.
It is.
Like, it's actually a plus for them that Dwight came back.
Him. I don't blame anybody. I don't blame anybody that was like, yo, I'm not playing.
But you definitely can't blame him because I think his son has some type of issue. So
yeah,
nah, bro,
100%.
I'm cool.
But like for the NBA Finals, if it's Lakers and Clippers versus Bucks, me personally, I say no asterisk.
Celtics or Raptors or in the East.
Like if it's any of those 3 teams, because I don't see anybody else coming out the West besides Lakers or Clippers. In the East,
pretty much.
If it's Bucks, Raptors, Celtics, because they're all pretty much fully stocked. They didn't have people opt out or anything like that. It's outside of that. If something fluke happens, that's when people are going to start raising questions like, like if the Pacers make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, they're going to be like,
Pacers.
We didn't really. Now this wouldn't happen because Oladipo was still hurt and yada yada, and so that's when people start.
They got Oladipo still.
Yeah, he's playing.
T.J. Warren dropped 53 tonight. They got somebody.
And then
it's easy to drop 53 if nobody else is scoring.
Well, it's also easy to drop 53 when you don't have home field advantage, home court. Like,
and if nobody else is playing
this
defense.
Is pretty much like organized pickup basketball. Mm-hmm. Like they've got no pretty fans. Much. Like it's just them on the court, and
weird.
The voices is pretty much them. I know they're dropping in like the virtual fans coming in, and they're trying to do the stadium noises and all that. But
7-second delay, so
it's
fans cheering mad late. It's like, nah, bro.
Overall, it's weird. It's because of the state of things, and it's like the NBA, they did it right in terms of getting, back to playing in the right fashion. MLB did it wrong, all wrong. And again, as Aaron has mentioned before, it's the players' fault, 100% the players' fault, because the NBA had the right model, and everybody should just follow that. You do the bubble thing, and now you look at the MLB, and it's like, okay, this player is positive, this staff member is positive, this team's games is postponed.
Bro, you want to know what's crazy about that though?
Y'all gonna have to shut this down.
When the Dodgers and the Astros, when they cleared the dugout the other night, I was like, the first thing that popped in my mind was like, ain't no one worried about COVID right now. Because they literally meet at the mound, or they might have met at the plate.
They weren't
but
about that.
There weren't that many people wearing masks, like, and they were just right there. And I was like, ain't nobody worried about COVID out there. Like, this is ridiculous.
I have a working theory on MLB players. I think they're sabotaging the league on purpose. That's my working theory here. Because think about it. They
getting paid anyway.
60, 80 games or whatever. But
I think
this year, so this year they got a prorated salary or whatever.
Oh, do they?
Mm-hmm. But if the season gets canceled, all baseball money's guaranteed. So basically, you just end the year and we just start the same thing next year. You're gonna get that money regardless. And
baseball players got it made salary wise, like contract wise.
I think they
forget it. I tell anybody that's you teaching your daughter, your son, whoever to play a sport, they
baseball or soccer,
softball in their hand. Because I tell you what, man, and you don't even got to be. It's funny because baseball is one of those sports where it's a strange dynamic where you can teach yourself. You can get better, but it's like when you look at other sports, right? You look at when we use track as an example. You can't teach somebody to be fast, right? You got to be born that way. You can't just be like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna run 100 meters. No, that's not how that works. you got to be born with that. I'm sorry, you weren't born with that. No go. In you look at basketball, football, you have to be born with a certain skill. You have to possess a certain skill that allows you to even offensive linemen, defense, like just being big is not enough. You just got to be agile. You got to be strong. You got to have good footwork. Got to good handwork. Hips got to work good. In baseball, I feel like you look at guys like Tim Wakefield, right? Guys like that over the years, like they don't throw fastballs. He just taught himself how to throw a good knuckle screwball, and he made a career out of that. Like that's crazy to me. Like
because Aaron Judge is literally a specimen in MLB. Like baseball players don't look like him.
They do not. He's in the wrong sport or something. He's in the wrong sport. And man, he's built like a linebacker.
I mean, we all Yankees fans. Rivera pitched 20 years with one pitch.
One pitch, bro.
I got one for y'all. That's all I got, and it's gonna work.
I had a 4-seam and a 2-seam. You hit it or you not gonna hit it.
Exactly.
But it's crazy because he taught himself movement on that pitch because he had a fastball, and then it was like, okay, what else? What are you gonna do with that? I remember I posted a little article about that full length game that he pitched, and it was kind of like, whoa, like everybody was like, they didn't know what to do with him, and then he pitched like a full 8-inning game, had like 13 strikeouts or something crazy, and it was like, yo, this dude's got pitches. And then it was like, from that, it became, okay, what do you do with this fastball? And then he learned how to have movement on it. And when you throw in 95, 96 and it moves, bro, nobody's hitting that. What are you
at all?
Are you kidding
Good
me?
luck.
You can't even see that.
And while we're on the topic of baseball, can one of y'all guess who's the highest paid player this year in baseball?
I'm gonna guess because you asked the question. That's not Mike Trout.
It's not. This is part of my working theory as well. This answer.
It's not Mookie after his new deal, is it?
Nope. It is Prince Fielder.
Oh my God!
He does not play anymore.
He's not playing.
Nope. But they still owe him his money, so his salary isn't prorated. He makes like $29 million this year.
Stop.
Wait, aren't the Mets still playing the guy for like 2-3 more years?
Bobby
you talking
Bonilla.
about Bobby? You talking about? I think they're also playing Prince.
I think they're like a couple years. Oh my God! Stop.
I forgot how much longer he had for. Still collect the check from them.
I think it's a few years. He's still collecting a check. He'll still be collecting a check.
Rangers are paying.
I'm
Prince
like,
Fielder.
bro, baseball players got it made.
Like literally, if I got a $350 million contract, I might not come to practice.
Might.
What are they gonna do?
Cut me. I dare you.
They can't. They cut you and then what? They still gotta pay you.
Yep, so cut me. I would love to go home and take these checks.
That's when you know they really love that sport.
They start speaking out crazy, like it's just get that money, you can do whatever.
Since we naturally rolled onto the topic of the year and how COVID's going, I'm gonna get to the NFL, but I'm gonna preface that with, because my question was gonna be, where does because the NFL already has people opting out of to the 2020 season. We're talking like big names, not just guys riding the bench, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, and guys are getting put on the COVID list. So it's like, before we get into that, I feel like everybody, the narrative is everybody's in a rush. Like everybody's like, okay, I can't wait for 2020 to be over. Let's get through this. And it's like, okay, yeah, but guess what? When 2020 is over and we get to 2021, just because we got to January, doesn't mean like we get to flip a switch and things go back to normal, because that's not how this works. Because guess what? 2021 is going to come and it's not going to be okay. Just throw your mask away.
If COVID's here December 31st, it's going to be here January 1st. Nothing's going to change when that clock hits midnight.
Not going to go away. So
if it does, then the conspiracy theorists will have a field.
So you're telling me COVID's gonna go away on the East Coast first, then Central, then Mountain. It'll still be on the West Coast though. In the minute.
And again, and that leads me to the NFL, because we're in August officially, right? So where does and again, with all these players opting out, with all big names not, we see CJ Mosley not opt out, they put Matthew Stafford on the COVID list, the reserve list, right? So Patriots had like 10 guys opt out in like a week.
I have a theory for that as well, but we can go ahead.
So where does that leave? And again, the talks have been like, okay, we're not going to do a bubble. And okay, see, that already is, I'm not feeling that already, because that's what the MLB just did. And we see,
I think the NFL is the one sport where a bubble doesn't, let me not say it doesn't work, but it's almost impossible. Like it's way harder than any other sport to do a bubble for the NFL, just because of the sheer amount of players and staff that's on one NFL team, and you got to multiply that by 32.
Right.
Yeah, you're pulling like 100 like people. You include players, practice squad, trainers, medical staff, owners, and all that nonsense.
But there's got to be a way for them to circumvent this somehow. Where it's like, okay, who's on your staff, between players, coaches, personnel, trainers, owners, all that stuff. You can get access to, okay, do you have it? Do you not have it? Okay, come on through. Now,
what they could do, I suggest, and it's not the best suggestion, but it's a way to do a bubble per team. So, when they do training camp, like they're actually like, some of them go to like a local college or some other facility, and they're staying in dorms and different things like that. So kind of like how the NBA's got their bubble and the players are staying at, the Disney resort and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL players, they've got to stay at the facility, or there's or they have like housing for them. It's a way, so you are containing your team to your facility, or containing your team to a specific facility, whatever. You have to, and it sounds bad, but you have to control the movement of your players and your personnel. So the thing about Disney is that, it's controlled within the confines of the compound. Mm-hmm. So they can go anywhere they want as long as they're within the resort. Once they step out of that resort, then, boom, you got to quarantine, all that kind of stuff. Right. So for the NFL, that's what could work for them. The only thing is, each team would have to do that. And they would kind of need to start the season kind of like how the NBA is. So like they've been in the bubble for 3 weeks now, I want to say.
Something like that.
And there haven't been
I'm
any
losing track of time, to be honest.
Yeah, there haven't been any positive cases or anything like that from any of their tests. So it's proving that if you we don't even know if they're truly social distancing, and we know they're not, at least when they're playing the game.
Correct, they're not, but
it
otherwise it seems like they are.
But it is proving that, at least from the get-go, they all came in, no one was positive coming in, so they're not spreading it. They're keeping it contained. The only people that are leaving the compound are necessarily the employees, and they're supposed to be wearing masks and all that kind of stuff. So it is proven that if you minimize your connection and your interaction with multiple different kinds of people and stuff, you can maintain this and hopefully flatten the curve, as they say, and stuff like that. So that's what the NFL kind of has to do. You have to find a way to limit. They
need to figure it out. They've had plenty of time.
That is very true.
Come on. If anybody got to have this, like, y'all had all the time in the world to get this down.
Let's get one thing clear. NFL is playing regardless. They don't care about COVID.
Well, we know that.
Like, they're not doing a bubble. They're just playing football and pretending now everybody's going to sign a waiver.
The shield.
Like, we're playing.
They're not alone. The NCAA is following them.
They said it, but that's basically what they do anyway. It's going to be 15 to 20,000 fans in the stadium. Come over, like, y'all are trying to kill people.
This is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Because what are you going to do? Test everybody at the door?
When you
buy, they can be like, let me check your temperature at the.
When you buy your ticket, you'll be checking the box that we don't read the terms and agreements. That's a liability waiver, and won't matter.
It's all on you. Game this year.
No, I'm not either.
The NFL would be
Super Bowl
if we end up at like square one again, it'll be because the NFL will be NFL's fault.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, now if there are confirmed, since there's no preseason, if there are confirmed cases after week 1, they got to shut down.
Not the NFL.
They won't.
No, I'm not saying they will, but the moral thing to do would be you got to shut it down.
They wouldn't shut it down, but I think what they would do, again, like Aaron says, the NFL, they're going to play.
Morals, the NFL.
They're going to play. The NFL has no morals. So you can throw that out the window. They're going to play, but I think as a way to appease the masses, what they would have to do is be like, okay, well, we'll play, but no fans can come. Like, that would be the compromise that the NFL would make. Like, all right, well, but they would still find a way to get people to buy.
But I think we need to change. I think we need to change one thing. I think we need to stop saying the NFL. We just need to say the owners.
I mean,
because it's completely up to them. Like, Roger Goodell's getting all the flack, and he's the target.
The flack.
But
he collecting that fat check though.
That's what he gets paid for.
To be the target.
But at the end of the day, this is the owners.
Paid.
Like, the owners are the ones that are saying, all right, fine, we won't fill 80, 90, 100,000 people. We'll put 20,000.
Yeah, because at least they know if you put 20,000, they'll at least break even for the year. Mm-hmm. They're not trying to take L. They're businessmen.
Like, right.
Of course.
No else. So,
absolutely.
We're going to put 20.
You don't make billions by making easy decisions.
Exactly.
I mean,
or moral decisions. I can tell you
in
that.
reality, you could do 20 in these stadiums that hold what? Now, what are
60, 65, something like that.
You could distance people properly in a 60,000 capacity with 20,000.
Oh yeah,
yes, you could do it. Are they gonna? As long as they adhere to
what
doing
happens
it properly,
at halftime? Like,
everybody leaving, going to
the bathroom.
Like, you're gonna have to the traffic within the stadium is what's gonna have to be controlled.
Exactly.
That's the bad part.
Sitting in the stadium is the easy part.
That's easy. You're right. True.
Moving around is gonna be tough
because people are going to get refreshments. Bro, that's.
Now that you say that, 5 and after a touchdown, like, we just gonna stand and look at each other. No, man. Like,
oh my God, this is not gonna be good.
But I just feel like they're gonna just not test and just lie about it.
It's crazy. It's crazy to think about, right? Because movie theaters are having a problem figuring out how to get people back, and the NFL is like, oh, we're bringing 20,000 people.
The school system having a hard time figuring out how to get people back.
Hell, bro.
They said
movie theater see like 200 people.
Your president said that he wants to open schools because it's safe, but he doesn't want to have elections because it's not safe.
Well, we already know the game on that. Come on, we
So
already know.
something's not adding up there.
And that's also why he's got his one of his top donors is now a postmaster general, because guess what? He get to control that narrative also. Because guess what? The mail get delayed a little bit, a day here, a day here, a day here, and all of a sudden those mail-in ballots are lost in translation.
Speaking of mail, shout out to UPS, man. They held my package down. This is my first good experience with them. I appreciate them. I really do. I know, really do. I thought
my UPS man's been on time since this whole pandemic.
Hey man, I bought some expensive shoes, and I was like, they gonna ruin them in transit. I just know how they get. They gonna throw them at somebody's door, just knock and leave, and gonna be the wrong house.
Like, how much you selling them for?
Selling? Ooh. They won't be getting sold. They won't be getting one in Houston.
Ooh.
Don't know. I got the off-white 4s since we're already here.
We're here. We're here now.
Retail $200. They're reselling $1,300 to $1,500.
People are willing to pay for it.
And the jackpot right there.
It's been already 2,500 pairs sold. I have the size 10, which is universal size for men, basically.
That's
so they're going size. Easy, but I think I'm gonna keep them. I actually like them.
Wow, that's bold. That's bold to throw that profit to the wind like that.
Well, I'm not gonna wear them yet, so I'm gonna.
He's not sure, ladies and gentlemen. He's trying to decide, but he doesn't know yet.
He's giving everyone that's watching this time to, slide in his DMs, give him an offer.
Nothing to do with them. If I get that stimulus check comes through, then I'm keeping them because that's my money right now.
Speaking of which,
don't come through, they're getting sold.
I'm glad you mentioned that because do you think we eventually get something? Does something come through?
August 7th is them. Like they leave for a month after August 7th. So, and then they don't want, if you don't get it done August 7th, it's going to be September and election closes. They're not going to do that. So it's going to get done this week or something's going to get done this week.
Do you feel like it'll just be the same kind of repeat from the last one? Here's another
1,200 ain't going to work.
I don't know about y'all.
No, it's not going to work, but
I check every hour on this. So the last update is the Republicans keep coming to the table with they think they came with 4 different offers, and the Democrats keep telling them, nope, we gave y'all offer
they keep coming with that BS,
and we're not changing it, and that's it. And they leave, and I love it. Hey, stick to your guns. That's what you want. That's what you want.
To.
And also, Democrats put $100 billion in for schools reopening. This was in 2 months ago. So the Republicans try to one up them, like with $105 billion, which they're just trying to make it seem like they care more. Yeah, we throw $5 billion more. And then Democrats say, nope. Actually, we need $400 billion. The $100 billion was for 2 months ago. Shit's changed now.
Right. But we talked about that school thing before, and it's kind of like this is a double-edged sword, this whole school thing, right? Because there's no ideal resolution to where we go from here, right? Because they want to push the narrative of, we're putting all this money in these bills and trying to pass these bills, put this money here, get these schools back, back and operating. But the problem is that, different counties, different states, they all have their own plans for what that looks like for when a school reopens. They all have their own plans in place, and their particular school boards and their particular counties have to approve these plans. So with that said, that now puts, again, they're trying to push that narrative where it's like, okay, send them back. And it's like, okay, well, some schools like, okay, we're going to go 2 days on this day. It might be 3 days online and 1 day here. But again, as I've mentioned before, we've all talked about this before. It's kind of like that puts a strain, right, on household, right? So if you have a household where it was like, okay, even if you had 2 people that were working, and now it's like, this is now the state of things where, okay, what's the plan? The plan is now you have X amount of kids, anywhere between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever the case may be. Okay, somebody's got to be here, right? Somebody has to be available home. period. And it's like there's no they're forcing that on you. So it's like when they create a plan and things are the way they are, it's like, okay, they're not going to be going back to school in the normal fashion. That's just not going to happen. Okay, so and Aaron mentioned, like, they don't care about the households that are now going to be short one income. They don't care about that. They don't care about that at all. But somewhere something has to, but again, like you said, the Democrats are holding strong with whatever they have in their particular bill. Is like, okay, no, we're not going to go back and fix. This is what we standing firm on. But it's like, okay, if that's one of those things, then something's got to give somewhere where it's like, okay, it doesn't have to, but in my head, for the sake of the argument, it has to, like, okay, these households have to function. You can't just, like, they can and they would, but again, for the sake of the argument, household, you can't just leave people out there like that. You can't just be like, okay, y'all had 2 incomes, now you have 1. You just have to deal with that because somebody's got to be home for your kids. Like,
yeah, because it's either they got to lose an income for someone to stay home, or they have to take their income and pay for, like, a nanny, or
correct,
pay for
and
someone
everybody
to come to the house and
correct
watch.
and those options are not something that is viable for everybody. Correct. Because not everybody does the, oh, I'm going to pay somebody to come in and watch my kids, or nanny, babysitter. A lot of people don't do that.
Exactly.
Well, I'm in that household. We just don't do that. If you have a family member, an aunt, an uncle, or there's somebody that's, okay, yes, I will leave my child with that person. That's my family. I trust them. But you're not just going to pay somebody to come up in here like that. I don't know you like that.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. But, a daycare, that's a different situation. Okay, mm-hmm. That's a vetted system. That's a different situation. You're paying for a service. That's different. But that shit is expensive. Okay, I know y'all don't know. I mean, y'all might know, but paying it, y'all don't know. Okay,
I know that, but okay, I know it's expensive. So never heard no one say any good things about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, but that's not an, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's almost not an option for most people, because the income to cover that is almost a wash. You know what I'm saying? Like, that when somebody to cover that time frame, it's almost a wash. It's almost like you just working to pay that. Mm-hmm. That second income is only working just to pay that. So it's like there's no good resolution for that. This is a double-edged sword. It's like, man, I don't know. It's going to be very rough waters ahead.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see this week. That's all I can say. Like, we'll see this week.
But yeah, it's gonna have to happen soon, because a lot of schools are gonna be starting up here soon.
Yeah.
Well, the school I work at opens up August 5th. So,
but here's ultimately, like, okay, that's crazy. Here's ultimately, like, the long-term problem, short to long-term problem, is that for those, they're not. The conversation for them, especially for the Republicans, is like, okay, let's just do what was there before, which is $1,200, and if you got kids, you get an extra X amount per kid, whatever the case may be. That's cool. That's all well and good, but at the same time, that's not a resolution for the duration of this pandemic and just the situation of the world, the state of the world in general, right? And the best, interim idea, quite frankly, in my opinion, again, I'll say it, is Kamala Harris, which she's like, okay, $2,000 a month. All right, well, shit, I mean, that makes sense, because $2,000 a month until this is over makes sense, because for the families, again, because throughout the duration of this, schools aren't going to be functioning in the capacity that they were. Correct. They're not. It'll be 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 1.5 days a week, whatever the case may be.
Smaller classrooms.
Right. It's like, and then you got to understand the fact that also, do you want to send your child to school with these other kids that live with parents that, A, either don't believe in the coronavirus or they're just nasty in general. So like what? Those are two terrible things to consider when you're like, I'm gonna send my kid to school.
Well, and then the third
kids.
part of that is, kids are gonna be kids.
That's also true.
They're gonna be joking with everywhere, like
because when you think about when you were kids,
I mean, you
do that anyway.
Did it in the NBA, and he's a grown man,
right?
He was making fun, touching everything with the mics and this. So, what do you think kids are gonna do? They're gonna be way worse, way worse. So, yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm giving the school I work at. They open up August 5th. I already told them I'm not coming in to like the middle of August, just because I have to see what those first 2 weeks.
You got to feel that out.
Y'all go do y'all thing real quick, because I know they're gonna close it within a week.
But somebody do they have what level? What school level is it that is it?
Like grade wise?
Yeah,
it's K through 12, but it's not like.
God damn,
huge. It's not a huge school though. It's not like
I always hate, not for nothing. I'm going on a tangent on that. I always hated that structure because where I grew up, Nassau County, Long Island, New York, Freeport, right? Mm-hmm. So, and where I grew up in Freeport, you went K through it was like K. Literally, it was like pre-K and K, I think was like one thing, right? And then there was 2 separate buildings in our school zone, in our village, literally, of Freeport, where there were on the north side and south side, there was 1 through 4. 2 separate buildings for 1 through 4. There was a building for 5 and 6. There was a building for 7 and 8, junior high, and then 9 through 12. So when people started telling me like K through 12 was a thing, I was like, why?
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it's like a different building for K through whatever, and then high school and middle school, but it's literally all connected, so it's really not the same.
That's crazy though.
It's just weird. It's super weird, but it's a small school, so I don't know. And they're gonna do they're doing so Monday, Tuesday. It's 2 groups. You had group A or group B. Monday, Tuesday, group A.
Yeah, that's what I've been. Yeah.
They clean the school, sanitize it, and then group B comes in Thursday, Friday. The other days you're online.
I've been hearing that same thing. That's the exact same thing where I'm at. Yep.
So that's what we're doing, or that's what they're doing. Let me rephrase that. That's what they're doing.
That's not what I'm doing.
I don't know what I'm doing yet. I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna let it play out because I'm not with that.
And it's one of those things where there. And I mentioned there being no good solution, double-edged sword. But what if you got multiple kids and you got kids that are on the opposite ends of the one? This one's going on this schedule and this one's going on this schedule. So that means somebody always got to be home.
Facts, always, every day of the week. And then Wednesday they both are home, so it's like you got kids that go to different schools and they're like, it's not even. Yeah, so you got one kid go to school every day, one kid home 2 days, another kid like no school at all. Like that's just gonna be bad. So yeah, I don't know. And I honestly don't know what the money going to the schools is actually gonna do. That's not gonna solve anything, honestly.
It doesn't. Really, that's the problem.
What they should have been doing, this should have happened earlier, so they would have had all summer vacation long to go in, put whatever type of countermeasures in, any type of safety, whatever. Like they had that.
You don't need $200 billion to clean.
You don't.
So
you don't.
I don't get it.
I don't know what all that money's for. What is all that money for school reopening actually for?
Now it would be nice if they said, hey, we're just gonna do virtual. This money is for providing, the resources. So providing, because everyone didn't even have laptops. So
True.
providing laptops, providing internet service,
and a lot of school, like and I'll say that a lot of school districts I've heard are providing, like if you don't have internet service, a lot of school districts are now saying, okay, if you don't have it, we'll offer a service to you where you can get internet service at home. So, which I guess is where some of the money is going.
So yeah, if the money is going to that, that's good. But I mean, like I said, I don't know the breakdown of it and all that kind of stuff.
Because you got to figure how many people really don't have internet.
Right.
I mean, the percentage is probably much lower than that of people that actually have internet at home. But
like you can probably tell which areas are more likely than not to have it. But if you have more people coming out saying, "Oh, I don't have internet," then you're like, "Okay, we know that's not true."
You
like,
lying? Stop.
It's more of the low income families that you would be more focused on.
Can't verify it.
Yeah, that's one, you can't verify it, and then two,
people cut off the internet talking about I ain't got it.
Two, the other problem is you also can't be but this only really happens where you're at schools where you got different types of people all going to one school. But you can't also kind of be selective. Like you gotta be equal and fair to everyone, even though everyone's not equal and fair.
Yeah.
Even though that doesn't always happen.
What does that mean?
Never.
But if someone says, "Well, he got so and so, how come I ain't get it?" And once the right person starts that conversation, then you're down.
Yeah. So it's gonna be. Schools open is just not. What are you gonna do about lunch and stuff? I didn't even think about that. Like, how are you gonna eat and like how are you gonna do that?
So what? I'm trying to think.
PE, no PE
classes. I don't know. I can tell you that.
Oh, no PE classes.
Like that's over with.
No recess.
Oh, recess. What is that? How you gonna sit in class? No group projects like that.
I'm actually fine with that. I wish I was in school for them to say no group project.
I know, right? Hated that. It's like I don't want to work with y'all. It's the worst.
But I was that guy, so I can't say anything. I was the guy that like Aaron in my group. So, he gonna show up the day is due with his part. Like I gonna answer no calls, no nothing. I'm gonna have my part though. Don't worry about me. I'm just
I was the guy that was always doing the whole project.
I've done that too. Now I've had that day. Like, people just don't do their part, and you just it sucks.
Man, not for this Corona.
Yeah. It's depressing.
Yo, I don't know if Aaron, do you watch any?
Nope.
What is your?
He needs to go watch The Old Guard. That's what he needs to watch.
Anything.
Fire. First of all, fire.
Also, I know the answer is no.
Okay, no, not now, but it was more of a general thing. Like, have you seen? Like, what is your affiliation with Transformers? How do you feel about it?
I couldn't tell you one movie or one character.
Forget movies.
Optimus
Except the 86 one.
Okay, something like
that.
Megatron.
All right, so
there we go.
I'm gonna pass on you because you.
Megatron, I know Megatron. That's all.
I would hope so.
Just because Calvin Johnson, honestly. Damn be honest. That's really it.
So I've said this, I've made this clear in the group, but I'm gonna bypass you. Dre, you need to watch. And I've only watched one episode.
Oh,
really? The one episode that I watched of that Transformers War for Cybertron trilogy thing that's on Netflix, it's fantastic. Watch one episode, mind you, it was like 24 minutes, and they did short episodes. They had 20-something minutes, whatever. Oh my god, it was great because they've titled it as an anime, and it's funny because even when the title screen comes up, they have like Japanese under it. So like they really like push the narrative of it being like of actually being like an anime. And when you get around to watching it, it's like it really plays out as such. Like just the dialogue and just how like just the feel of it. Like if you watch any of the previous cartoons at all, absolutely nothing like any of them. Like
so it's not like Voltron or anything like that.
No, I mean, even though Voltron was fantastic and we both watched all of that and it was great, but it's not.
The ending was a little.
Yeah, it was, but they had to like end it, so I get it. And it was like, oh, it's not coming back at all. Like y'all really picked the point and was just like, we're done. I respect that, but I'm like, okay, fine, because it was so good, you wanted more. But this is like a real like anime feel. It's gritty, it's dark. Not that all animes are gritty and dark, but it just has that kind of just like, oh, this is grim. Like, and again, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but just like starting off, like Bumblebee is not an Autobot yet. I'll say that. Like he's like it's like the dialogue is like
Bumblebee.
The dialogue is great. Like this, like I said, it's on Cybertron. So this is like as the Cybertron wars are happening and Megatron is trying to like take things
like
over.
this is up my alley. Like I love when the Transformer movies hit the theaters. Like those were my Marvel movies before Marvel started, hitting their stride. I've seen every single Michael Bay Transformer movie, no matter what anybody says about them. They all
weren't that good, but that's okay.
I mean, granted,
the Bumblebee one, the last one was very redeemable.
But that wasn't Michael Bay.
It wasn't, but that's probably why it was very good.
But see,
and I like Michael Bay, but damn, man.
My thing is like I've seen so many Michael Bay movies. I knew what to expect. I'm like, look, I know there's going to be a whole bunch of explosions. There's going to be a lot. Here's the thing. Michael Bay's movies, I'm not going to say the plot of them, but the setup and the way that they're ran, it's kind of like the things that we used to, and we still kind of do, but we talk and laugh about with the campaign for Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. So, everyone always used to say, man, the campaign for Call of Duty, something's going to happen. You're going to get shocked and you're going to pass out and then you're going to wake up all dazed. Everything will be dragged around. You're always going to get knocked down. Like everyone always knew, okay, this is about to happen. This is about to happen. That same stuff happened with Michael Bay movies. My thing was, it was Transformers. It was cars. That's all I did.
You're right.
Of course.
But I'm telling you, you sit down and watch that first episode, you're going to, and you if you got any time, like you're gonna just keep watching it. I just didn't have the time at the moment to keep watching it, but like.
So is it like the whole first season, or do they split it in like parts?
It's 6 episodes.
Oh, okay.
So they have it titled as War for Cybertron trilogy. I think the first part is called like Siege or whatever. So it's broken up clearly into episodic, breakdown of each section. So this first part is 6 episodes, and clearly that's the first part of whatever this trilogy is, right? So whatever the next 2 parts are, we'll see how many episodes that is. But this first one is 6, and it's like 20-something minutes, and you can knock that out real quick. But it is, the first episode was like, okay, sold. Like this is, now granted, obviously the voice, Megatron and Optimus, they're not it's not the classic, it's not Peter Cullen and Frank Welker. It's not, but it's close. It's close enough where you're like, okay, this is, I'm all right.
It doesn't break the show or anything like that.
No, it doesn't at all. It like there are a couple, I'm not gonna hold you. There are a couple moments like when Optimus talks, like some of the things he says, it's like you will get like, you'll be in your feels. Like you're like, oh, yo, that is okay. That hit me. Like, all right, damn. Like, and that's in the first episode.
Well, one thing that I want to talk about, and I'm gonna try not to spoil it.
Before you go, this is my public apology to Netflix. While we're on that subject, I did say they were done.
Yo,
when Disney came, I thought it was a wrap for them. I'm not gonna lie.
And you know what? I'm gonna piggyback all over that, because I said the same thing. I was like, yo, where does Netflix go from here?
This is why I'm
about to come and shut this down.
This leads into what I'm gonna talk about, because it's movies like The Old Guard that's saving. I don't want to say saving Netflix,
but
it wasn't necessarily needed saving.
It's the original content, because this Transformers thing, that's original content. Like this is all Netflix original content. It's like, yo, they're not slowing down. And
what they announced yesterday, they got me. I'm hooked now. So did you see the new shows that they added on Netflix, or that's coming to Netflix?
The black shows.
Yeah. So I got the list: Moesha, The Game, Sister, Girlfriends, The Parkers, Half and Half, and One on One.
Mm-hmm.
The first wave of black shows that's coming to Netflix. And Moesha started today. That was the first one. So
that's on Netflix right now.
Yep. Started today.
Like I think they're all gonna be rolled out throughout just the month of August, right? Like
August through October. All of August through October. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just watched the sync video earlier.
Allegedly have some more coming. So like if they get like a Martin or like a Wayne brothers for me, I'm
bro.
I'm never like
anybody that
Fresh Prince is out there.
anybody that gets more,
They can't afford that.
second
Well,
season.
here's the
Umbrella
thing. The only
Academy,
thing
I
about
gotta
Fresh
watch that.
Prince and Rhea and I, we went down this rabbit hole, and I'm getting off from my question I was going to ask, but we went down this rabbit hole before we started recording. So we downloaded Peacock and it started rolling through Peacock. So because Peacock is NBC, it would be hard for Netflix to get Fresh Prince because Fresh Prince was an NBC.
That's not happening then because
it was an NBC production.
2021 Netflix is taking Office off because NBC is putting it on their own streaming thing. So
yeah, they're not getting Fresh Prince in.
They're not getting that at all.
Not for nothing, yo. Brandy back in the day. Oh man!
All right. Before we get
she wasn't on the top of the top, but I'm just.
I need to know, and we need to try. We need to.
Everybody was under mine.
Let me just ask this question, Aaron. Are you going to watch The Old Guard? Let me just ask you that.
Why though?
Well, after we say what we say, you might go watch it.
I told you.
But it's a Transformers thing y'all talking about?
No, this is different. This is that joint that's on Netflix. Charlize Theron, The Immortals. Charlize Theron, you know who that is. Don't do that. Who that is. Stop playing.
She was the female villain off of Fast and Furious 7.
Okay, well, I've seen
or 8.
Oh, all right. I may. Hold on, let me look up her name.
But I mean, that's not the only thing she's been on. She's I'm trying to remember all the movies. She's a lot of action. What's the name of that movie? The most recent movie she did, it was a huge action movie.
Oh yeah, I know her. Oh yeah, come on now.
Yeah, come on, bro. You know
Charlize Theron.
Oh yeah, that's her.
But anywho, so after I finished that movie because of the cliffhanger that happened at the end, I immediately looked it up and I was like, please tell me there's a sequel coming, please. And it's supposed to be a whole trilogy.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, I don't doubt that because it's based on a comic book.
And see, I never read the comic book or anything like that. So this is like my first time diving into it.
It's funny because it's one of those things when you watch it, you're like, man, it's got to be based on a comic book. It's just got to be.
And I thought the premise of it, and like I said, because I've never read the comic book, so I had absolutely no background info whatsoever going into it. So everything I'm getting firsthand from the movie. Mm-hmm. So to me, like the premise of it, the fact that imagine just one day out of the blue finding out that you are immortal.
Right. That shit is crazy.
Like but think of the way that you find it out. Like the girl in the movie, like when she's out in the battlefield in Afghanistan and she gets her throat slit and then, she's waking up in the bed like, I'm here, I'm fine, I have no scar on my neck.
What's crazy is that I didn't even like expect that. And it's crazy when they throw you like that because I didn't even expect them to do that. Like she got cut up like that. I was like, oh,
bro, and Charlie's name in the
you're not gonna watch it. You just said you wasn't gonna watch it. But yeah, spoiler alert for people who haven't.
Her name in the movie, Charlie's Theron, her name in the movie is Andy. But she killed a girl like twice on the way taking her.
Yeah, that was great. She was freaking out. She just shot in it. Bow.
Right.
She was like, oh.
So it's kind of like a way to teach them like, hey, this is your life. And it literally took that girl. I can't remember her name. Kaya. I know something with a K. Now I feel bad.
Yeah, I forgot.
But it literally took her the entire movie, all the way up until the end, to realize, okay, this is my life now. Like I'm basically invincible. I can do whatever, and then I'm a spring.
Yeah, because then she just roll with it. Like she shot herself in the foot.
Now, Aaron, I'm not gonna say how the movie ends.
Man, it's too late. This nigga ready to heard the whole plot.
I heard everything that happened.
Well,
I'm not gonna watch. I promise you, I'm not gonna watch.
So all right. So here's
the thing. First of all,
it is a shame because it's a great movie. With the way Ree was talking about in the group, I was like, I'll give it a shot, but it can't be all that good. And then literally the way he was with the first Transformers episode,
I don't bullshit.
That's how I was with the first 15 minutes of this movie.
Yeah.
Like the first 15 minutes right there, like it's...
Yo, speaking of the first 15 minutes of a movie, did you ever watch the Ryan Reynolds joint that came, the Netflix original joint that came out. I feel like it was before COVID. It had to be before.
No, I never did.
It was called.
I didn't even know he had something come
out. Six.
Oh no, Six Underground.
Six Underground, is it? Six.
It was something underground.
Six. Yeah, it is Six Underground.
Okay.
Like, yo, let me tell you something.
That was a Michael Bay film too.
Is it a great movie? It's all right. It's watchable. You will enjoy it, right? It's an enjoyable flick. But the first 5 minutes of there's an explosion like 30 seconds into this movie. I bullshit you not. I'm not even exaggerating. And I think I screenshotted it and sent it into the group when I watched it. It was like 30 seconds in, there was an explosion. I'm like, yo, what happened here? Like, there was a car flipping all over the place. Look at this man's pictures. Looks terrible. I just...
Yo, brother. That's the corporate America picture, bro.
You're not doing that.
This ain't the
Joining
America
the
podcast.
Sports Gaming Anonymous podcast is your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. C1. What's good?
There you go. I needed the proper introduction.
There he is.
I'm about to come out like The Rock, like.
Please have clothes on. That's all I ask. That's all I ask of you.
Cue that man's music.
Now
Now he got a shirt on, so we're good.
There you go. Check the kid out. You know what I mean?
See, did you have you watched The Old Guard yet?
Nah, I haven't.
We're not gonna spoil it because Aaron said he wasn't gonna watch it. We just spoiled everything for him because he's not.
But I'm pretty sure C will go watch it.
You need to watch this movie.
Around watching this, I'll make sure that I watch that first. Okay.
Yo, that movie is legit. Everything I said about it, which wasn't much in the group, it is official. And Drake and
it literally had me locked in from beginning to end because there's at least 3 things that happen in that movie that you don't see coming. You know, it's not foreshadowed. It's not planned.
Well said.
And in that same vein, I don't need.
Don't kill me with the. We good. We good.
I'm gonna transition and jump back to the Transformers.
Hold on. And not to interrupt or nothing, but I have to know what is that in the background in your joint.
Hey, bro, it's a room divider. Don't worry about that. We got the setup back up. What is that? We are streaming from the desktop. We're not doing that laptop shit no more. So we are official. We are official tissue here.
Okay.
Yeah, you see, he got the light on him and everything.
Hey, he got the basket weave back there. I'm like, a lot of rope and basket material.
Sexy, supple leather, you know.
Yeah.
Yo,
it look like you're gonna do S&M with some farmers.
I mean, hey, look, they got to get it in too. You know what I'm saying?
I know. You know, I'm a member of FarmersOnly.com too.
I don't. Oh man, it's terrible. I just sold Dre on this, so he's gonna go watch it. But this Transformers joint, that just dropped on Netflix.
I heard it's good,
bro.
Yeah,
bro.
All right.
He sold already. He didn't have to sell him.
I've watched one episode, and I'm in. I haven't got, just because I had to cut it off time wise. I was like, I can't get into this. Otherwise, I would have watched all 6 episodes because they have it labeled as a trilogy. So this first part is 6 episodes. So I'm like, it is the most anime a Transformers has ever been. Like literally, like the art style is dope, and I was telling Dre expect. And I'll say this up front because Optimus and Megatron are not the original voices. It's not Peter Cullen and Frank Welker, but they are damn good. You know, in those portraits, they're close enough where it's not gonna throw you off.
Let me ask you this: is it better or worse than the new Voltron?
Oh man, that's unfair because I thoroughly enjoyed the new Voltron. The new Voltron was way better than the old Voltron. That was tough for me to eventually say because, you know,
was it?
Being an old head, it's like it's the same thing with Ninja Turtles. I eventually had to give into the fact that Nickelodeon Ninja Turtles was better than the old school, because it had more depth. The characters had arc, like it was deep, like it was dark, like, and the old Ninja Turtles that we watched was just campy. It was just like it was just campy as all hell. Like it was just like pizza time, like. But it was like eventually I was like, okay, yes, it's better. The Nickelodeon one was just better. Same thing with Voltron. It's literally the same thing. The new Voltron, that DreamWorks Voltron on Netflix, it had a story, it had arc, it made sense. The old Voltron was just like, let's just figure out every episode how to get them into Voltron. Like that's literally all that show was. Like, let's just throw Roe Beast down there and figure out how to get them into Voltron. This show was not that, because they were like, they went episodes without even getting into Voltron. I didn't even get into Lions. It was just story and character development, and it was dope.
It was about the people in the
It was excellent. So when Voltron actually came through, you were like, oh, this means something. It wasn't like the old show. It was just like Voltron was in there every episode because it had to be. It was like, ugh. This was like, okay, when Voltron came in, it was like, yo, this is a moment. Like this is like, but this Transformers, like this is literally, and I think, and again, I've only watched one episode, but I know enough, having watched a lot of Transformers in the past. This Transformers is better than any Transformers show I've watched before, hands down. And that includes Transformers Prime, which was the recently good one, but that was like 10, 15 years ago. That one was good. Beast Wars, because the original was great for what it was, but again, just like those old shows, they were just there just for fanfare. It wasn't like any story.
They were there to sell toys.
They were there to sell toys. G.I. Joe, Transformers, Voltron, so they were selling toys, right? And it was cool and it was fun and we enjoyed it, but they were selling toys. So, and it wasn't until the Transformers 86 movie that it got some depth. But this show, this is...
How long is it right now? Like how many episodes?
It's 6 episodes for the first part of the trilogy, and each episode is like 24 minutes long, whatever the case may be. But I was so into that first 24 minutes, and I was telling Dre this, like...
Because the movies got dry, bro.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. There were like points in that first episode. First of all, it felt longer than 24 minutes in a good way, right? So it was like, there were like times where Optimus would speak, and I was like, yo, I'm into this. Like you felt something when he spoke. I promise, and you'll know exactly when it happens, and you're gonna be like, oh, that's what he was talking about. Yeah. Like he says stuff, and you're like, oh, yo, this is real out here. Like, this takes place. The wars. I know.
It's a Netflix.
You see what I'm looking at, right?
This is a Netflix original joint. So it's like this, but this is the Cybertron Wars. This is long.
Oh, okay.
This is long before they leave Cybertron and to come anywhere else.
That's interesting.
And I told Dre this before, and this is not a spoiler because you figured this out the first 5 minutes of the episode, but Bumblebee is not an Autobot yet. Okay. He's still he has no place in the war. He wants no part in
war.
At all. He wants no part in what's happening.
Yeah, so Aaron
the Decepticons are fighting the Autobots.
Decepticons.
And he wants no part of it. He's like, yo, I'm not about this. I'm just trying to live, right? Like I'm just trying to survive in this. I don't want no part of what you.
If you want to crash course, just watch the first Transformers movie. The one with Shia LaBeouf, Megan Fox.
There's some kids in there.
That's the only one that's
like a vacant spot. I don't know, bro. I've seen
just watch the first Transformers movie, and it'll give you the brief history and overview about. Because I'm trying to think. I mean, I would tell you to go watch the OG movies, but I don't want you to think like the 80s graphics and stuff like that is gonna. But they're still great movies.
I'm with you. Yeah.
86 one though. First of all, the Bumblebee movie is probably the best one.
I'm not watching a Bumblebee movie.
Don't do that because
Bumblebee's the best
first of all,
one.
let me understand. Let me let you understand something about before you do that. Let me let you understand something about Bumblebee. Aside from Optimus Prime, Bumblebee is the only character in the Transformers universe to fight Megatron hand to hand and survive. So let me just let you understand how dope Bumblebee actually is.
My man got offended.
Sound like Megatron.
I ain't watching this.
Okay, Bumblebee's a G. All right, I'm just like, and I'm not saying that because that's my favorite Transformer or anything like that. Because I had never thought about that. I don't actually have one, but Bumblebee is legit. Bumblebee has Optimus's respect to the point where he's like, okay, he consistently sends Bumblebee out first because he knows he can handle it. He's like, I need you to go scout this world or this whatever because I trust you to handle it. I know you can survive it, and I know you can take it, and I know you can, withstand whatever is there because Bumblebee's a G. Let's understand that. But I'm just putting that out there.
Bro, I saw a Transformers movie. I gotta figure out which one I saw.
Probably the first one, because most people saw the first one.
No, it was like recent though. In the last 3 years, probably.
Well, the Bumblebee movie is the most recent Transformers.
That's the most recent one. This is the Bumblebee one.
Was John Cena in the movie?
I don't think. Yes, John Cena was in there.
No, I'm asking Aaron, like the movie that he remembers seeing was John Cena in the movie.
Bumblebee was good. That was a good Transformers movie. Like literally better than
I'm gonna figure it out.
Pretty much all the Michael Bay Transformers movies.
I'm gonna tell you what got me with the Michael Bay films. Even though Megan Fox wasn't the best of actors,
fanfare,
she was way better than the chick that they replaced her with. What was it in the third movie?
Yeah, I've forgotten most of these movies. I'll be honest with you.
Because all she did, because she really got on my nerves. Because all she did all movie was scream.
Yeah,
and I was like, at least Megan's character, she had some role. Like in the first movie when she was driving the tow truck with Bumblebee hooked up on it and driving it through the city and whatnot. And then in the second movie, she went on the adventure with them. Like she had parts. She was, she had some type of dealing with it. Every movie after that, it's almost like I think the other thing that happened was just they were trying too hard with the human element.
That was the problem that Michael Bay ran into. It wasn't about Transformers. It was about these people.
Right.
Like, I'm not here for that.
Now, I guess fine when you have the human element with the military because they have. But they
weapons. Didn't give them anything to do.
Right. And the thing is, like, and I understand that they made Sam the an important part with the Allspark and all that kind of stuff. But in most situations, soldiers are not going to take orders from a civilian, let alone a civilian kid. Like that's just not going to happen. So they were the human element is what Michael Bay missed out on, and like how some of the in the later movies like 3 and 4, the human villain, like how he had the Transformers on his side and working for him and all that kind of stuff. It just
much, bro.
It was
Transformers aren't no humans.
Which one had the? It was like what's it called? You ever seen the Black Eyes, like Red Dragon in Yu-Gi-Oh?
That was 4, Age of Extinction.
Wow.
Or,
why do you remember that?
Yeah, Age of Extinction. That's the one that had...
He knew right away. Yeah, it's Age of Extinction.
I think they're like
I don't even remember most of the names of these things anymore.
I don't know, bro.
Well, Junkyard.
Dark of the Moon.
Junkyard. Darker Moon was the second one.
Last Night was terrible.
It wasn't the second one. It was more recent. Let me see.
He made a mockery.
Was Mark Wahlberg in the movie or not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
If Mark Wahlberg was in the movie, that was the last.
You probably Last Night.
That was Last Night. That was Michael Bay's last Transformers.
Oh God.
Hey, that movie was ass.
Yes, it was, and I feel bad for you.
That's the only one I saw.
Yeah, you should have watched it in order at least.
God.
Yeah, with
You watch Bumblebee. You'll be all right if you watch that.
Correct. I watched it in order.
Bumblebee was dope.
Yo, I got a question for y'all. As a matter of fact,
What's up?
so, would y'all rather fight 100 rabid squirrels
I love these.
or one angry bear?
Squirrels.
What was the first one?
The 100 rabid squirrels.
I'm not fighting no bear, so squirrels, bro.
The squirrels. I got a chance.
I'll take my chances with the squirrels.
Got a chance. 100
Wait,
squirrels
fight
is a
no
lot.
bear?
What about 100 though, bro?
Nope, I'm good. I'll take my chances.
I'm kicking at least 40.
Right.
Like,
I'm stepping on another 10.
they call me Adam Vinatieri because I'm
Either don't take this down. This is just a question that was just asked. We had to pick one or the other.
I'm taking my chances. Thank you very much. I'm not getting mauled by nobody's bear.
with a bear. You're done. Like
Especially if it's a mama bear.
What if it's a bear cub?
Nah, man.
No, because that means the mama bear is somewhere around.
Bear cub.
Right. No.
Right.
It's still stronger than me.
I wouldn't even fight a Chicago bear. Like, man, get out of here. I'm not fighting no bear.
No.
I'm not even fighting Khalil Mack.
I don't know,
I'm
bro.
gonna fight
100 squirrels will do more damage than Mitch Trubisky, bro.
Oh, well.
Yeah, probably.
Well, it depends on what type of damage Mitch Trubisky is doing.
Not throwing it. He's throwing picks, maybe.
I might trust 100. I might trust 100 squirrels at QB before Mitch Trubisky. To be honest,
Probably. You're right.
Hey, they put out an article
And
saying
Blake
he's been training with a quarterback guru this offseason. So
Oh yeah.
You ain't been training with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the easy
Is he
one.
gonna-
I'm not fighting a
Yes,
bear
he's
at all.
nobody fight no bear.
Oh,
You went to
I mean,
Tom
what's wrong
House.
with you?
I can't remember
Doubt
who
it.
they said it was. I
Okay.
gotta go and find the article again. I just saw like the headline. I was like, I'm not clicking on it.
since C
Yeah.
took us a hard left, I'm gonna take another hard right. I was about to rant on this before the podcast started, but I saved it. First question before I even get there. In a relationship, what are y'all non-negotiables? Like, no matter what, you're not doing it.
Oral. It's got to be there. Like Chris Rock said, look at you like a Betamax. And this was like 15 years ago. No, that's a given. If you're not doing that, sorry, see the door. But that's something that's one of those things that you establish in the first like couple of weeks.
Mhm.
There's certain things it's like I'm not
giving it up. It's just happening, or not even happening, but just things that are non-negotiable.
Yeah, I'm not doing no booty stuff like involving myself.
That's
It doesn't have to be sexual, by the way. But
There's just a red area. I'm just gonna
you
get
have-
the whole. I've been thinking about getting the whole area just tattooed, like the whole no area. Just get a nice, you know what I'm saying, a line and that's.
See, I don't think any tattoo artist want to see that on you.
No, but you just gotta pay them. Somebody gonna do it. You know what I mean? You just paint the whole area red. Just give me a red rectangle.
Red of all colors. That's the color you want.
red, a rectangle.
I tell him like, yo, when you see red,
They
that
want a
means
stop sign on his ass. What are you doing?
I'm gonna get a tramp stamp of a stop sign.
Why would someone be back there? First of all,
Yeah. You never
don't-
know where things might go in certain angles, and you know what I'm saying. So I'm like, nah, there's got to be no-nos.
I also think a non-negotiable is, for me at least, is contribution somehow. You got to be bringing something to the table.
See, that was gonna be mine.
If not financially, then you have to be willing to, whatever the situation at home is. If there's kids involved, then something's got to give one way or another. Either contributing financial or you're contributing to the house in terms of care, child care, house upkeep, all of that whole X, Y, whatever.
See, I'm with you to a certain extent on that. Like,
whole thing.
Like for me, it is financial because
It doesn't have to be
the house stuff. Like, I'm like, we can do that.
hey, everybody non-negotiables are different.
We can do that. You know, that should be something that we both take part in. Like, I shouldn't expect you to do everything with the kids, everything with the house, stuff like that.
I agree, but
the reason I think like that is the same reason why I think you shouldn't expect for me to do everything financially. Like, the way,
true.
And it's kind of like just how I was brought up. Like, both my parents worked. So I never saw my mom go to my dad when she wanted something. There was something now granted, I'm not talking about like gifts. Gifts are different.
Mm-hmm. No.
But like if we went to the mall and if there's something that she wanted, boom, she could buy it right then and there. Like,
and for money. For everybody that pendulum swings a little differently. And C can attest to this because me and him grew up 3 blocks away from each other. So it's like
3 whole blocks.
You know, literally, like, like literally. So like, and suburb blocks, not city blocks. So like, he knows what my household was like growing up. My dad went to work. My mom was home, like looking after me, like because she stopped working after I was born. I'm the youngest of 4 kids, so it's like when you watch that dynamic, you get used to that being like, okay, well that makes sense to me because work, this is that. So it's like that becomes acceptable to the point where it's like, okay, situations come, they change, they fluctuate. You kind of got to change things on the fly. So sometimes it might be, okay, I need you to provide financially. If that's not the case in this particular situation, it's okay. I need you to provide in other ways. Yeah, I need you to make sure the household is held down. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have to, if the scales, kind of move up and down, then it's kind of like you have to flow with it. If it's like, okay, only if 2 people are working, then okay, we have to figure out how we share these responsibilities. If one person is working, it's like, okay, this is the responsibility that the one person is holding down, whatever financially. Then the scales fluctuate where it's like, okay,
I got you.
I'm doing a little more working, then maybe at home there's a little bit more expected of you in terms of upkeep, childcare, whatever the case may be, whatever is happening in the house. Again, the scales fluctuate. It doesn't necessarily have to be a set thing. They fluctuate depending on situation. Yeah.
So I guess if I can restate mine, I guess my non-negotiable is I'm not your caretaker.
Not
okay. I mean, I feel you that coming in.
Like I guess
absolutely.
That's the way I'm saying. Like don't like we're going into this as a partnership. We're not going into this where like
100%.
You need to rely on me. I
and
guess
for
that's
you,
the word.
And I 100% agree with that. For you, especially you being the age that you are, you meet somebody that's around your age, y'all single, she ain't got no kids, when you don't have any kids, it's like absolutely, I 100%, because I wouldn't expect you to undertake somebody that's like, okay, she's just coming in talking about I'm just here for my looks. No. You need to be bringing something there's no kids involved here. You need to be bringing something financial to the table.
What about you, Slaydro? You've been super silent about this.
No, I was just listening because I had a follow-up. Did you have more to C and Ree than Dre? But as you get older, did you have a non-negotiable that when you were younger that changed when you got older?
Yeah, mine was the financial, like Dre. And I'm in a situation where now I'm the primary breadwinner, and
it's just,
we have 3 kids, and the house it just requires so much work now. I'm like, when she is working, at times when she is working, the house falls apart, and it's not because I'm not contributing to the house. It's just it's a lot of work to do.
But you're still doing a lot of working. That's what it is.
So what I just go, yo, I'm gonna bring the check in. I'm gonna take care of the financials. Just make sure I ain't gotta worry about nothing in the house.
You know what's crazy is that my answer is exactly the same as his, because because same thing for me. When we got together, she was working. We was trying to figure out the kid situation, and we were both working.
It's pretty much what you all were saying is like.
But now we've gotten to a point where same situation.
So you're basically saying like, as things change, like as the clauses and the amendments came, you had to change.
I'm gonna hold this down. Hold me down over here because I'm gonna hold this down.
So I guess then
I'm not gonna fail you on this.
Is there truly and I want to ask this without the sexual side, because I think the sexual side is maybe the only thing that can fit what I'm about to ask. But is there anything that is technically a non-negotiable?
Yes.
Yes, but stuff.
There's plenty.
Well, I
Like,
said
there's plenty
without. I said without sexual because the sexual stuff is like that's an easy.
It ain't gotta be
I mean, that's
sexual.
still
Okay.
a non-negotiable though.
Well, I guess
I
it's
will-
In the
not
first like
sexual,
couple
but
weeks,
it's
I
not.
gotta know because if you're not doing that, you're not even getting
I
in
know.
the
I mean,
door.
you can race is not.
No, I'm saying when I say it's like a non-negotiable, I mean like there's
that's not-
no
I'm just saying for
situation
people,
that's
not for
going to
me.
change and change your mind on that.
I'll
Yeah, I'm
say
just
this.
saying like in general, there's plenty non.
That would be tough for me to answer now. Like the 25-year-old version of me might have one answer. I today might have a different answer, but it's like because that changes over time. You get older, that shit changes. Y'all figure that out, but it's
That's why I'm asking this question. I'll get into to why I asked.
you get older,
I'll
this
say
shit
this.
changes. Like you don't care about certain things you cared about
Why,
when you were
Slade, you
20.
get into a situation where you need to talk about your non-negotiables?
I'll say this.
Yeah,
I'll say
it's
this.
getting there.
So
It's getting there. It's getting
whoever,
there.
like my current situation, me and my wife, I could not imagine my relationship lasting as long as it has if she wasn't well fed. If she wasn't well fed, like she is smart, and when we talk about stuff, she brings new information to the discussion.
Facts.
And we build and we compile thoughts, and then we come with ideas, and it makes us both better to have discussions about things.
Same.
And to be with somebody that's like stupid or like brings
Can't
nothing
do it.
to.
Matter of fact, he's right.
I could not
That's
do
it.
that. That's a big
same.
no. Like,
Can't do it.
I can't
could
deal
now-
with
now-
someone.
now-
I can't
now-
deal with someone that has no ambition.
Yeah, that's
Like,
a good
because
one
my
too.
thing is,
That's a
because
good
one
one,
thing
too.
that, and I've dealt with many different people, and the one thing that I've always looked at that ambitious quality, and it can be ambition, and because there's some people that they don't mind working for somebody. There's some people where they're like, I want to work for myself. So ambition can be on both sides. Like if you don't mind working for somebody, be ambitious in your job. Like want to get a raise, want to elevate,
correct.
want to move up.
Or
the
you
ladder.
can work for somebody and still have whatever you're doing on the side.
Right.
You can still have a side
Exactly.
thing like this is what I like
So,
doing.
and then
I
if you want to be that entrepreneur, if you want to be your own business person, things like that, or run your own business, things like that, have that ambition to do that.
But
so that's always something that I definitely
truth. And I piggyback on C again. Me and him 100% agree with that because I'm like, you can identify that early on. Like if you're not bringing anything to the table up here, you get put into this bubble. You get put into this bubble over here where it's like I might can still have fun with you, but you can't go past right here.
I gotta ask y'all as younger fellas, like, what is it like? Because you gotta remember, like my relationship. I'll give you an example. When I met my wife, like I showed her it was official. I put her in my top 8 on MySpace. That's how what I'm saying.
I remember that.
I've been there
Top
before.
8, top 4.
I haven't logged into my MySpace since freshman year of high school, and that was 2008, 2009.
So like,
That's
what
how
is
you
it
know
like?
it's real.
Like you meet somebody and y'all on the talking stage with all these distractions and social media and all of that going on. Like, how do you figure out if you can take someone serious with all of that going on? Because a lot of people are very different than how they are on social media as well.
Yo, and I'll tell you, before y'all answer that, and I'll piggyback on that real quick because again, me and him and being the most active old head members on these podcasts, like things were so different. Like when you courted somebody, there was no social media to court somebody. There was like, okay, you may have met somebody on it, like somebody you work with at the job, and you may talk to them on the phone, or you may chit chat on AIM or something like that. AOL Instant Messenger for those that don't know, like, and now it was like. That was the conversation. That's how that happened. It was like, hey, can you meet me, whatever, this time on Friday? Like, and that's how that went. And for me, I know largely it was just like people that you work with, look, the relationship I'm in now, like, right. That was your social media, bro. It was people that you worked with. Like, those are the people that you interact. And largely, I feel like that doesn't change much, right? It's where you spend the most amount of your time. And a lot of us spend the most amount of our time at work. Like, and And people always like, oh, you met this person? You met them at your job? Like, well, yeah, man, I'm there 40 hours, 50, 60 hours a week. Like, what you mean? Like, what,
where else am
I ain't got time to do nothing else.
like, where else am I going? Like, you don't meet people at the club. That's not a thing.
Well,
okay,
That's never been a thing.
To answer your
In
question,
movies.
see, one, I actually think it would be great if Dev was on this episode right here.
Absolutely.
Him being, you guys' age and him, like, getting in that dating stage.
We miss you, Dev.
For him
Free
to
Dev.
actually explain
free
that.
Dev.
Hashtag
free Dev.
For me personally, one thing, because social media,
we're not talking
at
about
most times, it can be a front. People post whatever narrative that they want to post. Some people, or they have whatever their persona is, that's what they're gonna post on social media. But that might not be who they are in real life. So you gotta have an unplugged date, in a sense where you're not going off of you're not trying to learn that person or know that person, understand that person based off of what you see on social media. Like, you really want to go through questions and just go through conversation and figure out who are you, what do you like. I don't really care about what your social media is, because that's a front, that's a persona. I'm not living with your social media person. It's like living there with a celebrity. Like, when they're out in public, I gotta be this persona all the time. Like, I'll use this as an example, like Kevin Hart and his wife. Like, he's gotta be Kevin Hart when he's out in public. Mm-hmm. But when they're home, like, he's not Kevin Hart 100% of the time. He's Kevin or Kev, whatever she wants to call him. So you gotta know who that person is to figure out, is that somebody that you wanna deal with. And then the other side of it, you gotta keep your insecurities in check, because social media will definitely have you out there, feeling yourself, or being below yourself, because you'll see a post and you'll be like, say what?
Like that. Like, who's that like your picture so much?
Right. Yeah, like you'll be like, why are they always commenting? Why'd you like that photo? Like, you can't be doing that kind of stuff and things like that.
What's crazy is that, like, we talking about this, and that creates this, for me and C, that creates this thing where it's like, we remember, like, when you grew up. First of all, you didn't have cell phones, and y'all know this, right? We 30s, we going on 40. We didn't have cell phones growing up. My first cell phone, I was 12th grade, right? First cell phone. Like, we had pages, and even before that, you didn't have, I remember writing letters to people, all right? Like, literally, letters you put in the mail to somebody's house, all right? Like, it's just so crazy, like, we
had this thing. I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with this, because this is something that people don't really talk about no more. But we had this thing called the chat line, and basically, what you did, you called the phone number, and then basically it was very similar to Tinder, but of course there's no visuals. So you would hit a button to hit next message, and you would listen to somebody's outgoing message, and if you like that outgoing message, you would leave them a little message or whatever. You leave a little voice message, and then you hit the button. And I remember, and this is how you had to practice your G back in the day, because you just talking to random strangers, so it don't matter what you say to them. So I had this thing. I'd call myself the deacon. And then I'd talk, and then I'd say whatever, and then, you got to have your little smooth or whatever. And then every shorty that would talk to me would be like, yo, why do you call yourself the deacon? And I'd be like, it's the deacon in your mouth. And if they laugh, I was like, all right, I got him. And that was kind of my
That actually worked?
Of course it
Hell no, that shit ain't worked. It worked a couple of times, but it ain't worked that frequently. And I'm like, yeah, but you, as a guy, you wasn't really on them chat lines you was not on the chat lines looking for love. You know what I'm saying? It was, like I said, that was the Tinder back in the day.
You're just trying to fill in your little black book.
You was just throwing stuff against the wall trying to see what was going to work. Yeah, and, when you found something that worked, you kept using it. You know what I'm saying?
So different.
Bro, first of all, to answer your question that you asked me about dating in this time,
yeah,
I couldn't even tell you, because I ain't dating. I'm out the game. I've been out the game for 2014, just chilling. Ain't have a girlfriend since, and been in a relationship since 2014. I done been in some entanglements for sure. Since 2014. But
I need to know what brought you to that decision.
Non-negotiables. No, I'm joking.
I believe that.
People are. I mean, how can I put this? I'm not gonna say girls are dumb because that's mean.
People aren't always who they start off to be.
That's true, and also
that's always true though.
Social media, people can't hold the conversation these days.
Yeah,
no. And you know, it's funny. It's funny you mention that because you can always tell. You can sit out and like be somewhere with a group of people, and you can tell the age range of people. You don't even have to look at them. You can tell by interaction. Like you can tell like who's on their phone. Like you can tell, okay, I know you're under a certain age range because you're not interacting with anybody. You're just on your phone. Like you can always tell the age range of people in a room just by that alone.
Well, it's a maturity thing too.
And I noticed that even being a tech guy and going out to like lunch and shit and like after work shit, people I work with, like you can tell the people that are like in that range of like late 30s, over 40, and the people that are like mid 20s or so, like they'll be on their phone, like checking their stuff. And like the people that are in that higher age range are like, yo, they're just talking. Like they're just like whatever, like
like be nice.
Like so here's how, and this kind of goes to what I was saying, like that.
But that doesn't apply to everybody. But I'm just saying majority.
That unplugged date. Like if you can have me, and I don't want to sound misogynist here, but like if you can have me put my phone down, which basically means that you and I can hold the conversation. You and I can hold the conversation. Like that's dope because to me, like I'm an introvert. So if I'm out with a group of people, if the conversation is not going, if it's not something that I'm interested in, then for me, like I'm glad I have my phone because that's something. All right, my interest isn't in this. I got my phone to keep me interested until something, until a conversation that I can take part in and stuff like that, comes up. And you'll see it on the podcast because like Aaron and I will do that. Like there'll be times you'll see us like we'll be looking down, checking something, looking at something if we're not like fully engaged in the conversation.
Oh yeah,
but that's like that.
Go back to the Transformers thing.
But again, I will relate to.
That's just our generation. That's how we are.
And I'm not gonna. I don't fault you for that per se because that's what you grew up. That's what you know. You know what I'm saying? That's every generation has a thing that's like, okay, like look. Grayson, he's 6, okay, and he can navigate a game way better than I could when that stuff didn't exist. Like when me and C were 6, right? So but for us, we didn't because we're in that funky in between generation where we're old enough to respect the generation before, but young enough to know the technological advancements of where we're at now.
See, the funny thing with that is I would think that that's Aaron and I's generation because we grew up with it. So some of us didn't all get it at the same time. Like you said you didn't get your first cell phone till the 12th grade. I got my first cell phone in the 6th grade. The reason I got my cell phone was it was for military. Like I was at one school, my brother's at another school, my dad was deployed, my mom was working. It was just like, hey, if I need to reach you,
but it was there. The technology was there.
Right.
That shit was too expensive when I was a kid.
We just did right. It just wasn't there.
And the thing was like I remember growing up
back in the day, like 90 a month.
I remember growing up with AOL in our house, and you can't be on the phone and the internet at the same time.
I'm glad you see. I was one of the first people. Like I was one of the few people like in my neighborhood that had like their own separate line. Like I was like popular.
In your rooms and
like it was like yo, you got your own line, like yes, bro. Like because my mom's dad's figured out like, okay, well if you have this internet, we'll get a separate line for you because you got the computer in your room. Okay, so every time I unplug that joint, plug it right to the phone. Like it was like the hotline bling. Like yo, what? And look, I'll even say like, yo, me and my man C, like we would be on the phone talking, like watching wrestling, like, because like that was, but y'all y'all don't know. Like back in the day, you would call somebody's house, be like, "Hey, yo, can I talk to such and such?" Like you had to get through the gatekeeper of somebody's parents.
See, we had to do that.
Was
your
boy
or
some girl you were trying to talk to, you had to get through the gatekeeper of somebody's parents because they were answering the phone.
Oh, man.
Like and every time they answer the phone, your heart would be like, "Oh God, damn it!" You were like,
you try to be as respectful as possible. Like it's so
good evening, good afternoon. Could I talk to?
Or y'all be talking crazy and somebody else pick up another phone in the house, like
you hear that pickup sound like click. You're like, and my man C parents was always like, I need to use the phone. Get off the phone.
Hey, that's the other difference with our generation.
Yeah, no respect.
Like we had to do all that. We had to call people on the phone. We had to ring the doorbell and talk to parents before we could.
Good for y'all.
Go see our friends. At least I know.
Y'all are the last. You're the last of like a dying
But see, the other thing is, I think trolls were invented with our generation because you all didn't have that. You all didn't have that outlet where you could say something and not have a consequence.
That's the big thing with us, and I'm gonna speak on that because I grew up in the generation, especially playing video games online. For those of y'all out there that play video games online, and you get these people that think they're gonna say whatever in the world they want to you. I did not grow up with that, so I speak to people online, and I'll trash talk, but there's a limit to what you'll say.
Because before he finishes, and I'll just interject real quick, because if you trash talk somebody, they were sitting next to you or standing next to you at like an arcade in the deli.
We had to step outside.
Well, I was in an arcade, not in a deli or nothing.
Man, you on the arcade sticks, or if you in the crib playing a sports game or something like that, and you went somewhere with the conversation, either depending on where you went, we was going outside after that, and that's really the big thing now.
Come back inside.
That's really missing right now is. You play somebody in games online, especially some of these younger folks, some of these 18 and under that be on these games, and you be like, Cam, I don't even want to be playing with no little. You get to the point, you play these games, you get in these leagues, and you play like Call of Duty or something like that.
You hear them right away. You're like, nah, I got to get out of here.
You're like, oh,
I got to get out of this room.
I'm more in y'all wave with the games and the phone because I was late to the play with everything. I ain't get the first phone to freshman year of college, first cell phone. So I'm super late with everything. Online gaming, college, had to pay for it myself.
There you go. So I had online gaming 1 year, I think, Mad 2010, Vince Young on the cover. Only time I had online gaming, and I was still on PlayStation 2. Only time I ever had it. And then the phones, only in college. Cause gotta pay for it yourself, young buck.
I'm gonna tell you this about specifically about Call of Duty on Xbox. Because I'm sure we've all experienced it. I jumped on Modern Warfare 2. I played on Modern Warfare 2 for probably about a week with my headset on, and I stopped doing that, bro. Unless I was like playing with my friends.
Wait, you're talking about when it originally came out?
Yeah,
or the remastered?
No, the original.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember where I was working at, I had a couple of my coworkers like, we on Call of Duty now. I'm like, oh yeah? All right, cool, I'm gonna get on there. And I got on there and there was a couple of randos in the group or whatever, and I'm like.
I don't even to this day, whether it's Call of Duty or whatever, if I jump online, I'm not playing with a mic on. I don't be
listening to the other people.
I don't play with any mic on unless I'm in a party with like y'all. Like I don't.
Right.
I don't. I'm good.
Sometimes I'll trash talk.
I mute everybody. I mute everybody as soon as a match starts.
If I play randos in Madden, sometimes I throw the headset on. Especially if I see that they don't have the headset.
I don't even play that. So
sometimes, especially like if I see they don't have the headset, and I know like they probably hear me through their speakers.
I do it every time I turn.
I trash talk that. Hell,
see, because y'all streaming, y'all have to be.
If I see your little thing moving, for sure, I'm putting my headset on and I'm trolling you the entire time. Like one game, a dude cussed me out. He probably sent me a 500 word, like just cussing me out because I played Justin Bieber in my mic the whole entire game, as loud as I could. I didn't even put my mic on. I just put it next to my phone and play like
Oh,
baby, repeat.
baby,
And I played
baby.
for like 30 minutes straight, and he was just cussing me out the entire time.
I'm
So,
sure
yeah,
you
I'm he was sick. But then
See, I just somebody did that to me. I just open up a party and just be in the party by myself.
and then why you got your mic on?
I think, I mean, and I don't,
No,
that
it is
really
also
doesn't have
'cause-
anything to do with the dating aspect, but trolls, that definitely came from our generation. Like, we're the originators. Now, there are people in y'all's generation that do it, but it's because they saw it, they learned it, and they're like, oh, well, I can do this too. But we started it. It's just because
I don't want that. Ain't no we. Y'all did.
Well, I don't do it, but I mean, our generation is the one that did it. Like, as we got older, we realized we were like, oh, well, it's because everyone's got like, I won't say everyone, but there are people out there. You've got your personal social media, then you've got your alternate identity or your private social media. Most of the time, they started it because they were trying to hide it from their parents, and then they're like, oh, well, no one knows this is me. Like, let me just say whatever I want. So then people just start getting comfortable, and then they start saying stuff, and next thing you know, it just takes off. And it's just, I don't agree with it. Like, I don't like trolling, but that's a negative that came out from our generation.
I'll tell y'all this. I feel like Twitter's got the most trolls right now.
Yes, sir.
Oh, by far.
And it's like, when I joined Twitter originally back in, I want to say like 2009, 2010. And back then it just felt like this ongoing conversation. But now Twitter kind of feels like, cause I had a span of a few years where I wasn't really that active on Twitter, but I've been trying to get, back on my game with Twitter, cause I'm a little more on Instagram and Facebook. But when I go on Twitter now, it's like anything you state your opinion on in any conversation, there's a troll waiting in the cut for you. Like,
can't wait. They're just searching the topic and they just can't wait to troll.
They're like this. They're like,
but
one of them is in this Zoom call right now.
Dang, Reed, he going crazy on you.
What? Don't do that.
Dre throwing shots at you.
I don't know anybody else in this group that changed their whole profile to be Woj from ESPN.
Oh,
don't
shoot.
do that.
Oh, shoot. We don't know who did that.
I know I'm a troller though. See, but
that's still a classic move though.
I'm a good troller. Some people are terrible trollers. Some people.
That man had Laker fans crying.
Oh,
I'm
man.
still blocked. I'm still blocked by so many Laker fans. And I'm a Laker fan, but it was just
running in the streets screaming.
One dude told me he was gonna kill himself.
We got Kawhi.
It was bad.
That was classic. It
That's
was.
my fault, man. Learn how to read. But yeah, I'm a good troller. I hate the tough guy trolls. I can't. Like, what are you doing,
dude?
You got a Avi of some basketball player that's not you, and
oh my god,
like, you got 36 followers, and now you're the toughest guy in the world. See, I'm not.
And
that,
no profile pic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not. I hate those trolls. I'm a sports troller. That's ain't no harm in that.
And I had to learn because sometimes somebody will say something and I'm like, oh well, somebody responded. Let me go ahead and engage a little bit. And I try to, and I'm like, I don't really like what they said.
Engage a little bit.
Yeah. I'm like, so shoot, I didn't really like what they said. So let me just state my opinion as well. And then they come back with something. I'm like, and then I'm like, all right, well, let me give them another chance.
And see, from knowing C, I can tell on his end, he's probably like, I'm having a genuine conversation. Like this is your opinion, but I'm trying to get my opinion across. But the person on the other end is like, man, I'm just playing around with this guy, but he keeps responding back to me, so I'm gonna keep going and going. Like, he's laughing,
I really be trying to build with everybody, and that's something that I had to learn over time. Was like, all right, well, everybody and people ain't on here to learn or to to gain information or to. I'm like. Right. Folks really just on here playing around, and maybe it's the old guy in me, but I feel like, damn, people just wasting the internet because there's just so much. Like, everybody can know so much. You could really dead ass if you jump on between Wikipedia and YouTube and some Tumblr pages. You can learn how to do heart surgery. You look at some of this stuff online, man.
Wow. I get the point.
Heart surgery was your go-to example.
I'm saying you can learn to do very complex tasks. by just watching stuff on the internet and by just reading on the internet. Like there's so much we're able to learn. There's so much information out there to be able to absorb. And most people just want to, watch porn, share cat videos, and argue with strangers. And I just think it's just the weirdest thing in the world to me. I'm not to watch porn stuff because watching porn is very useful. You know what I'm saying?
Of course it is.
But like all the rest of the stuff, like people really, people spend an extra amount of time wasting time. And I do the same thing myself. I waste a lot of time. You scroll, especially on social media. You scroll, you're not even looking at nothing in particular. You're just kind of just yeah. And you could burn about 5-6 hours a day just scrolling on different social media platforms.
That's why I try to stay off unless I'm posting something relevant for channel.
So
I'm learning how to manage my time on it and learn like, all right, well, let me see if I can do something productive.
I got the screen time app on my phone just to
Yeah, I don't even.
When you do that,
I don't even want none of that. Facebook will tell you. Go on Facebook. Facebook tells you how much hours a day you spend on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, on the app.
I have to backtrack us back to
YouTube.
My original point here because I'm getting this off my chest.
Oh,
we just took 17 tangents just now.
Yeah, my bad.
Steve's original question. I don't know how we got here, but it don't matter. Okay, on social media, I got it. But so I have a non-negotiable.
Okay.
That's about to be negotiable, unfortunately. But I think it's as you get older, because I feel like time's running out, and so it's negotiable now. So
I know where you're going with this.
I think Ari mentioned it, or he kind of mentioned it, but
yeah.
You cannot have a kid. Like that's always been a non-negotiable.
I figured
that
always. It's like
before you say something, because I know you can definitely speak a lot on it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I knew because I'm like Aaron also, like I've been single for a while. I knew that the longer I stayed single and the older that I got, the more likely. I'm not saying it's absolutely gonna happen, but the more likely that it is that you will end up dating somebody or getting with somebody that has a kid. I understood that.
Well, you go, Bree. See,
I'll tell you this real quick, as young fellas. So I would call it a positive. Depending on the person, if they already have a kid, because now you can observe that relationship and you can tell what kind of, I'm gonna tell you this. So someone told me this a long time ago. There's two things that you can tell about a person, when you can tell the quality of a person. One is how they treat people in service, and two is how they treat their kids. How people treat people in service, when you sit down with somebody, that's why going to a restaurant is a good date. Because when you see how somebody treats the wait staff, and how people treat, how people treat all the service people, and you go certain places and you see how they treat that person, that tells a lot about their character. And how someone treats their kid, because you're really supposed to love your kid unconditionally, and you're supposed to give yourself unconditionally to your children. And a lot of people ain't out there doing that. Everybody ain't out there doing that. And certain people really put themselves before their kids. And, that's a big red flag. At least for me right now, if I were to be dating right now, and I would be dating somebody. And then the third thing on top of that, just to add as well, and not to go into that conversation, but it's good to know that somebody can have kids. And it's good for two ways, and I don't need to get into them because I'm sure y'all are kind of, so I just leave it at that.
He's right.
But I also say that being a non-negotiable, I'm starting to like women with kids now.
Yeah,
and that's like the natural order of things. Like as you start to get older, right? And as you said, because as I went through the system of dating and you're talking to people and you still talking to the girl that you were messing with in high school and she knows what I'm talking about, and that keeps rolling on, and you meet new people, you're like, okay, this one, that one, and then you're like, okay. And even for me, like early to mid 20s, still meeting a girl that was younger than me, 6 years younger than me, that had a kid, first of all. And it was like, just had one. It was like, oh, okay, you're cool. But I don't feel like, this isn't it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's something missing here, right? For whatever reason that was. But then you get older, and then for me, hitting like 27, I think it was like 27, and I was like, okay, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Right? It's 27 when you're like 27, even though you're like at 27,
30 30 creeps up real fast.
Right. 27 full-time
25
job.
to 30 is like 5 minutes long.
Yeah, full-time job.
Don't say that. Please don't say that.
Making
27
you're gonna be laughing in a couple of years like, damn, bro, you was right.
Hey, I'm the last one in the group to turn 27.
Right. Making decent enough money for myself to hold down, my apartment and my bills and whatever the case may be. But you live in the bachelor life, whatever the case may be, 27, cool. And then 27 rolls around, and you're like, for me, it was just like, okay, things start to like finish. Like you're not talking I'm not talking to the girl with the one kid anymore. I'm not really, me and the old girl from high school. We not doing that no more. And I'm just like, okay, what
the girl with the toddler, bro?
What happens?
That's the one,
right? So then what happens is, again, somebody you work with. So then, like, you're 27, I'm going 28.
Well, it's different for them because they're able to expand that reach now because of social media,
right?
And because of that network.
For them, yeah. But for me, it's like, then it was like, okay, then you meet the girl that's like, okay, damn, she fine. You work with her, you're like, man, that's dope. Like, she's fine. Like, I like her. She's a little bit older than me, and she got kids. And I'm like, okay, I'm not.
Every female at your job's gonna be like.
But you're 27. You're 27, and even if you look back at all the people that you grew up with, you went to high school with, whatever the case may be, you're 27 now. You look at these females that maybe they might not with somebody right now, but they got a kid. Almost none of them don't have a kid. It's almost impossible, except for the one random, and she knows what I'm talking about, where I'm going with this, except for the one random girl that I knew and some couple of her friends. Like, how do none of y'all have any kids? I don't even understand how that dynamic works. Y'all closing on 30, but whatever. That's a whole different conversation. But
I can explain that, but that's a private conversation.
But I'm like, okay, so I meet the girl. She's got 3 kids, and she's a little older. And I'm like, you know what? I'm ready for what happens is at that stage in my life, for me, you tell yourself, okay, I'm done with this phase. And I'm like, all right, I'm ready to be in a family. You didn't envision it in this fashion. You're like, okay, I'm ready for a family. I didn't envision meeting somebody that has 3 kids, right? But you tell yourself, okay, I'm ready for a family. Whether I didn't see it this happening this way, but you know what? Let's do this.
You dove all the way in, bro.
You like the female, and then what happens is you make an assessment. You're like, okay, how are the kids? That's your assessment of the female. You look at the kids, and you're like, okay, these kids are well behaved, they're respectful. You know what? She's about something. Because you look at the kids and you're like, okay, these kids are a certain way. That means she's a certain way.
Yep.
Okay, we can talk. We chit chat. And you have a conversation.
Especially if you were well disciplined as a kid,
right?
And you know what I'm saying,
right?
You got your ass whooped enough. You know what kids who get their ass whooped look like.
Exactly.
And you know what kids who don't get their ass whooped look like.
You know what they look like. Exactly. So you're like, so I'm like, okay, the kids these are good kids, they're respectful kids. That says a lot about you. That means you can hold them down. That means you can hold me down. You know what? I think I'm going to do this, even though this is not the plan that I had in mind. And it's funny because you fast forward because I always had a plan, because I'm the youngest of 4. So you're like, okay, anywhere between 2 and 4 kids, that's a good lifestyle, whatever. So it's like, you get older, and then my son is born, and Grayson is here, and it's like, okay. And then she goes, okay, do you like, are you good here? Like, are we like, you said you wanted like X amount of kids. Like, I don't know what I said it was, 3, 4, whatever the case may be. And I was like, she was like, you know, you want more? And I'm like, I have 4. What are you talking about? I'm done. I'm good. This is, I inherited 3 plus 1. That's 4. Done. I don't want to. You sure? Yes, I'm sure. No. I'm now counting down the days to when he's 18. Like, let's
have 0.
No. We're finished.
So,
but again,
what's making you look at those women now?
But who, me? What was it? Who, him?
Slaydro.
Oh, say. But before he goes, let me just say that, like, I understand why his brain is starting to make that transition, because as you get older, it's harder to avoid, because as you get older, your only option is, okay, do I pursue one of these women that are holding down their kids well? I have to accept the fact that she has kids, or I got to go talk to the 20-year-old.
That's standing on couches.
And you're 29, you're 30, you're 32. Like, you have to make a clear-cut decision. Do I talk to the 20-year-old with no kids who ain't about shit? Or do I talk to the 30-year-old, the 34, 35-year-old? She may have 1, 2 kids, but you know what? She's holding them down. They're respectful. She's about something. She has a direction in life. She got a good head on. She got a job. She got this. She got that. She might have a degree, whatever the case may be. But, you know, life goes the way that it goes. And you have to make a decision. Do I solidly, like, do I make a firm decision to accept these 2 kids and say, okay, you know what? Because you also got to understand that everybody has a different dynamic, whether it's men or women, whether it's a single father coming in or a single mother coming into a new relationship. Everybody has a different dynamic of how they want the person that they're talking to, or their new relationship, their new spouse, how they want them to interact with their kids. Because it's not always the same. Some people are like, okay, I want you to come in. I want you to be involved in their lives as if you were their parent. However, some people are completely the opposite. Like, you know what? They're good. They have their father or their mother. They're holding them down. You're here. You're with me. You know, it's you and me. You know, you can interact with them, but I'm not expecting you to be their parent. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's got a different dynamic for what they want that to be.
So is that kind of where you at, Slaydro? Like, you like the pool's getting smaller, or is it like, or is it more maturity thing?
Pool's definitely getting smaller.
Shit almost dried up, I'm sure.
Man, it's a struggle out here.
How old are you now?
About to turn 27. That's why I was funny. Like, at 27,
there it is. That's the magic number. I'm gonna tell you right now.
27 in what? 4
That's
months?
the magic number. You start asking yourself these questions, like, damn.
And for y'all kind of lost a year because of this pandemic.
I ain't lose a year because I've been out of the game for 4 anyway.
I was about to say it ain't been no different for me.
Changed for me. See, bro. All right, I'm just gonna say it. Younger girls are just stupid, bro. I've been trying not to call them stupid all podcasts. Man, they're not stupid, but they're just.
And when you say younger, can you clarify younger? Like, you're saying like an age or number or like a mindset?
It's both, because usually the younger age come with a younger mindset. But I'm not saying I was stupid at that time too. So
absolutely. Minimum.
I'm not just calling them stupid. When I was 21, I thought I was a genius. I was dumb too. I was obviously dumb.
But again,
and I'm not going under that, so I couldn't speak on
that's the juxtaposition that he has to deal with. Because now going on 27, now you're like, oh man, if I want to talk to somebody who doesn't have kids, they're gonna be 21, 22.
Those conversations are trash.
But if I want to talk to somebody my own age, maybe a little bit older, a little more sophisticated, they're about shit, they probably got kids.
Yeah,
and that's the problem. That's not a problem, but that's the problem.
That's the realization that you run into.
But here's the other problem that we run into. The other problem that we run into, because I'm only like 2 weeks younger than
young ass boy.
The other situation that we run
son.
into is if you do find someone our age that is single, we inadvertently ask, not directly to them, but like internally, we inadvertently ask the same question that people ask us, you know, why are you single? What's wrong with you,
I mean,
as to why, and usually, and it's not always something bad.
No,
for me, like I'm always busy. Like I'm always working. I'm always trying to.
There's a reason why you single. So
I'm
there's a
always
reason
trying
why
to
they
find
single.
something to do. Like my time just isn't there. So
Right.
you know, for her, is her time. You know, does she actually have time? Like, does she put a lot into her job and stuff like that?
But that's just
So
what you
then
got
it
to figure
becomes a
out.
time thing, and it's just like we're at that age where it's either you literally don't have time because of what you've got going on, and people call it selfish, but it's not necessarily that we're selfish, but it's just us. So us is all we have to look out for, or you know, she already has a kid and stuff like that. So then you gotta get out this mindset, like, okay, well, that's not my kid, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, it can still be a good relationship. This can still work. So it's a mindset change. So that's kind of like the situation that we're kind of in with our age group and where we are and stuff like that.
And the main reason I'm really not dating is because I know I don't have, like, I don't work where I want to work. I don't want to start dating somebody and I get a job in like Florida or something, and then I don't care what you say because I'm going. So it's like I don't know.
I'll tell you this, just from my personal experience. You know,
like I'm trying to wait and get me right before I try to.
But you have to. You got to get you right. That's and if I could tell anybody anything, that's the biggest thing. Because if you don't get to a point where you're right or you figured out you're of no good use to anybody else. Like,
I literally don't live where I want to live. Don't drive what I want to drive, and I don't work where I want to work. It's like it's just.
I'll say this to you and to people in your situation specifically, like just feeling like everything ain't situated right. I'm gonna tell you this: everything's never gonna be situated right.
Oh, I didn't know that.
However, the nice thing is to be able to grow with the person, because the person that's out there for you right now, that person ain't got their shit together neither.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is about being in a relationship is that, you know, you can get your shit together. You know what I'm saying? And it makes it simpler when you got somebody that you really into and you splitting the rent with that person. You know what I'm saying?
However, as you're making good points, it is 2020 now, and social media has people heads clouded, and they want everything perfect because they see their friends on Instagram. I'm sure they got the bullet points of what you gotta have before, whatever. It's different now, bro. It's different. There's girls that are just wild. I mean, y'all got a DM that one girl sent me. Girls are just crazy these days. Like, it's bad out here. It's hard out here for a pimp.
I can't imagine
out here. And I never told y'all my second non-negotiable. It's a joke, but I'm not joking at all because I had a dream. It's a funny non-negotiable. You have to, and I put this on my life, you have to show me a baby picture.
Wow.
I swear to God.
I agree.
I am not joking.
I agree 100%.
3 and under or 4 or 5 and under.
How soon do you have to see one?
Before I fuck. I mean, like, pretty soon.
Because you're going to find out at that point.
Man, I don't want to find out that late. Hey, it's 2020. Technology is great.
That's crazy.
I didn't see some things on the timeline. I was like, ooh, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. You can't ooh right away no more.
Nope, can't even ooh right away. So I'm like, I got
crazy because I feel like that wasn't even a thing for us. Like,
it was
on the come up. I mean, but not
like it is
much.
now.
Like,
it's not so. It wasn't common.
No, hell no. That wasn't something that you were actively thinking about, though. It wasn't like
I'm not really thinking about it either. But it's a joke, but I'm not joking.
Right.
So what I've discovered from living in Atlanta is is you can pretty much. I'll have this conversation privately as man. I'm gonna just outright and say it. So here's a cool thing about surgery, right? Nobody gets surgery on their hands. You know what I'm saying?
I guess.
So that's really as far as I'm gonna take that.
Give him a little throat chop.
So that's what I'm saying. So as far as that goes, there's ways with lighting and angles and photos and things to take that away. But if you just say, "Yo, snap me a picture," let me see what your nails look like. Send me a pic of what your nails look like, and you see a hand. You know what I'm saying?
Twisting off beer bottle caps.
If you seeing some hair on the knuckles, or you seeing some knuckle bruises, maybe from some bar fights or something, or you know what I'm saying? Or maybe the palms is a little rough. You know what I'm saying? For a reason or so. People don't get surgery on their hands, so
it's true. It's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? It reminds me of a Seinfeld episode.
It's good observation. Exactly. That's why I mentioned that. It's man hands.
Yeah, bro.
He was like, it's not a twist off.
She opened the beer with no.
Seinfeld is also the most overrated show of all time.
Don't do that. We're not doing this. I'll end this podcast right now.
Stop recording.
Shut these cameras off. Shut these lights off.
Bro, I'm gonna say this. Seinfeld was what The Office was before The Office.
That's a good.
One of those are a good show, and one isn't. It's literally
wow.
You are blaspheming all over this podcast, and I will have none of it.
I'm gonna ignore that and keep it moving and ask this question real quick.
And laughed. Be honest, bro.
Who are we talking to? I know you're not talking to me because the answer is yes every time I watch it.
Let me ask y'all this. Do y'all think there's a show that's out right now that could potentially end up replacing The Office as like that iconic sitcom?
No.
Superstore. If it continues to go on like it is.
I'm not that big on Super. It's funny, it's cool, but The Office is next level.
I 100% agree with that. But you asked me to pick one. I think that's like the closest thing. That's like, cause everything else is like.
I like Superstore.
Superstore's hilarious.
Also,
it's smart. It's smart comedy.
Continue. Yeah. You know, this is my era. I was obviously trolling. I love Seinfeld. And Kramer is my favorite character. If anyone was wondering, Kramer is my guy. But nah, The Office is, first of all, shows can't even be that good anymore. Like, The Office second episode would get the whole show canceled if that aired in 2020. Diversity Day.
Oh my God, bro! And
that whole show was super cringy.
Basketball episode in the
the basketball.
Come on.
When it had
Stanley walks in, he goes, "Secret weapon." Racist.
When Idris Elba, I think, came and they had like somebody that worked that had a felony, and they were like, "Oh, we know who has it, but it's okay. We know who it is."
Yo, Michael Scott is like the most cringiest character in 2020, bro.
Great.
Oh, yeah.
But see, the problem was it was real. Like, I understand it wasn't real, but like those were like real conversations, like real stuff that people thought about and that happened in the workplace. And the workplace is not a safe place all the time. It's not the workplace really can be a not safe for work place.
And a lot of times it is management that does that.
Right, because who are they going to report to? And and then the lower people, their employees, they're usually too scared to report it up because they're like, oh, but they're going to find out, then they're going to treat me differently or they're going to fire me, whatever. So they deal with it. And it's just,
there's this feeling, also when you work in an office and you deal with a manager that's like super cringe and you don't really like him that much, but you kind of like him because he's trying, but you don't really like him because he's trying really poorly. It's like you go home and you reset, and then you go, all right, well, I gotta get my check somehow, and they pay enough right now.
And just outside of the cringe factor of some of the jokes, some of the topics, things like that. you could watch that show and you could relate almost, I'm not saying you will, but you could almost relate every single person in that office to someone that you've worked with before in your life. You've worked with a Dwight, you've worked with a Stanley, you've worked with a Jim, you've worked with a Pam, you've worked with a Michael.
Like, I worked with a Creed.
Like,
facts, man. I was
like you worked with all these people. You worked where there was dissension between the different divisions, where you had the the packaging crew, and you had the people that worked in the office, like or the shipping crew, and you had the people that worked in the office. Like you've had that in workspaces before. Like it was a very relatable show, and I think at the time that it came out in, like, it was perfect for it, and everyone just gravitated to it, and everyone loved it.
It wasn't so soft either.
Like
yeah. And, I can't imagine any show being able to do that.
Let me get this out real quick. Hey, Lexus, y'all still owe me my last check, so pay me. All right. Are we here? I only squared up with the manager. Come on now. I ain't even fighting.
But I remember when I worked at BMW, I remember like hearing some of the conversations that some of the salesmen and technicians would have about employees, about customers that came through. And like I'd be standing there or I'd be walking through and I'd be like, y'all real bold saying this here. Y'all real bold talking to one another about this. It was, they didn't hold anything back. They just said whatever. Like it was. And so that's why, to me, like watching The Office, I was like, okay, this is just like my workplace. Like,
when I worked at Lexus, so I gotta get this story out. Y'all know Keith.
Please
obviously.
do.
Keith was about to leave anyway. He was going to Philly, so I was gonna quit anyway, but I was looking for a reason. And so we worked that in the front, like the service department. If a car come in, you take their name, blah blah blah. But he hates when, like, the manager hates when people stop like in the middle, because you traffic and you block everything, which understandable, that's cool. Especially when it's big trucks. So we're about to close. It's probably 30 minutes left. It's like 4 of us working. Nobody's doing nothing. A big truck comes and we all just watch it because nobody cares. Like, we're all waiting for the one person to go do it, but nobody does it. And then it like stops in the middle of like the thing. He comes outside. He's pissed already. So I go up to the truck to try to tell him to move because I already know what's going to happen. Manager started cussing me out in front of everybody. You know not to fucking do that. Don't let that truck stop right there. So I turn around. I'm like, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people out here. I'm the only one that tried to get him to move, but you cussed me out. We went back and forth. Long story short, I told him, like, what you about? I threw my hands up, like, I'm ready.
Oh wow!
It's over with. I'm in his face. I got my setup. I felt like Mike Tyson. I'm about whatever, because I'm about to quit anyway, so I want to fight. Because you've been pissing me off for 2 years.
To let the beast out.
It's been 2 years, like, and I just like, all right, bro, somebody got to beat your ass on this lot. You don't know. So yeah, they ain't fired me. They just told me not to come back.
And they ain't give you your last check though?
Nah, because I ain't give them their clothes back. They had some nice
stuff. Oh, no, that's one thing. Like, BMW was the same with me. They're like, hey, we really need you to give us those clothes back or pay for them. I was like, no, I'll give them back.
My last check, so we get paid. I mean, obviously, we get paid every week. I only went to work one day, so the clothes was worth more than that little one day. Y'all got that 3 days work out of me. It's all right. It's cool. Yeah, Lexus owe me money. And I got enough out of them anyway, because we was a finesse. We get free breakfast on Saturdays.
Yeah, we got free lunch.
Oh.
So, like, you got to sign a slip, basically, with your name and stuff, and, like, turn it in. And if it's only 2 of us working, everybody that works in our department is there that day, and we turning all those names in. Wow. So we get, like, 80 breakfasts for 2 people. Like, we're wilding. Yeah. And that's my Lexus stories.
That's
and
great.
I don't think I worked. Like, I can't work with like a manager since then. It's just
Sports Gaming Anonymous podcast sponsored by Lexus.
They got the bag. It's my bag. So look, if we get the Lexus bag, just know y'all owe me about $60 extra because they owe me my day's work still.
But to go back to the question, I don't think there's any show out there. Like, I like Superstore. I like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I think those are only 2 like sitcoms I actually watch right now. But I mean, and they have some stuff in there that's kind of like, I don't want to say it pushes the limit, but but they go there, they try it, but it's nowhere near the level of The Office.
I might get in trouble for this one. You know what's not funny to me? Y'all seen Blackish?
Yeah.
I've never got into that.
You don't like Blackish?
Shit's trash. Now I'm not even trolling this time. It's not funny.
I say it's not super funny, but it's a good show.
Was it supposed to be a comedy though?
It is, but it gets more serious. It gets very serious.
It's
on a lot of episodes.
Yeah, it definitely gets serious. But I never got like a comedy type. Like, I mean, there are funny moments,
comedy, though.
but I never
got
thought
his moments.
But I never thought it was necessarily there to make me laugh. I thought it was more for like relate, like, oh, okay, like, I can relate to that, or that definitely happened here. Yeah, that happens in the black community. Like,
I think it's awful. That's just me, to be honest. No,
I don't like it at all.
I know the name and black people, but sorry.
Y'all watching any specific animes right now?
Apparently, it's Transformers.
You do that? If that counts.
I started rewatching Inuyasha.
I'm watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
See, he didn't even acknowledge anything that anyone said. He just waited for a dead moment. He was like, I just wanted to tell y'all that I'm watching JoJo.
Nah, my bad, man. Let me go. So
like, he didn't even say, okay, that's cool. Oh, wow. I didn't even see that. Or, like, not even fake it. Like,
don't ask your questions now. Nah, we cool.
We know what was really up.
I thought y'all was going to elaborate a little bit more than just naming the show. I'm like, damn,
you asked the question, we answered the question.
I'm not watching nothing. So
wait, so how far into Inuyasha are you right now?
I just started the 3rd season today.
Okay.
Well, you deep. Don't you hate when old boy died from old boy? Yeah.
Making shit up.
When they was fighting and shit.
So is this your first run on the show?
I first started watching the show like when it first started airing, like in the early 2000s or whatever.
Toonami.
Yeah. I think I've made it like a season and a half. It was hard for me to keep up with it because I was in sports and stuff, so I just didn't necessarily have the time. So I just fell off. So now recently I saw it pop back up on Hulu. I was like, I'll give it a shot. So, I mean, I like it. Like, I've been steadily watching a few episodes every day and stuff like that. So, but it's an anime with a sword. So,
is that kind of your gig?
If it's, I'm telling you, anime for me that I'll watch.
I know that's Flash's gig.
Off the rip, if it's got if there's swords involved, if there's machines involved. I'm at least gonna give it a shot. Now
you're still not watching One Piece.
Now it's still up to that show.
I got time for that shit.
I am not watching. I'm not gonna say I'll never watch it, but right now, maybe when I'm 60. When I'm 60 and the show is done with,
and the show's got a daggone cyborg in it.
Like when I'm 60 and One Piece is done with, I'll start watching it.
It's probably not going to end for maybe another year or two, to be honest with you. It's
not like I'm going to be 60 in a year or two.
It's going to take probably about another year or two for that show to end.
That's what you said a year or two ago.
Nah. You know, with One Piece, man, it's at a point where you can tell it's probably about a good 70 to 80%.
We started talking about One Piece. We were doing.
No, I'm gonna get off it. I'm just telling you.
Whole podcast. We ain't talk about Madden. At one point didn't talk about One Piece.
I literally was gonna say that.
Yo, this is goddamn X Factors. Yo,
I get off that because what I really wanted to bring up was the quality of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Sucks.
And it's a very strange show, and the way they introduce the characters, they just drop characters in on you. And if you watch the show, you'll understand what I'm talking about because I don't really want to spoil it. But what I will tell you is that that's a spoiler.
I watched a few episodes.
I'm gonna leave that alone. But it's one of the few animes that like, if you watch the first episode, you're gonna be like, all right, I gotta know what the heck happens to these characters now, and it catches you really quickly.
I worked for EB Games a long time ago.
Okay,
it's like 18 years ago around. It feels like No, that feels like it was like 18 years ago. It's a long ass time ago.
Wow.
It's crazy.
It really was.
This was before the merger. So it was EB Games was a thing and GameStop was still a thing. So
And speaking of what you just said,
and
it's crazy thinking that Aaron and I, like, we were born in the 90s. And I remember that used to be like that was just a few years ago type deal.
Nah, bro.
Because I saw a tweet on Twitter today, or it might be yesterday. This chick, she posted, she was like, my son asked me when I was born, and she said, I said 93. And he asked, so did you know Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.?
Yikes.
I was like, one, this man like a whole 30 years off.
Yikes.
But secondly, like, are we really getting to that point where us being born in the early 90s or just the 90s at all? Like,
We're at the point now where you got 20-year-old 2000s babies now.
Like now, and it's the point where it's like our decade is mixing with other. Soon people are going to be asking us like, well, were you there? Were you watching it when JFK was assassinated? Did you have to go through World War II?
Welcome to us 10 years ago, bro.
I'm like, yo, this ain't this. We didn't live. We learned that stuff. We didn't live that stuff.
So I got promoted, and then what happened was I moved to a different store, which was like a couple miles away. I got promoted, and then like I just got reckless. I was like. So in those days, and even now, like you go into like a GameStop, but you know how you got the video playing, like approved content.
Are you about to dry snitch on yourself?
It just ran. It was obvious. I have the dry snitch. I wasn't hiding it. So like, we had that video with stupid corporate DVD that had to play. I was like, well. I'm not playing that shit. So I just take that shit out and I would put in like, I remember it was one time like, I would just put in movies. And one time I had Matrix Reloaded in, and let's keep in mind.
VHS or DVD?
DVD, but this was before the DVD came out. I had an advanced copy.
Oh shit.
That's best play.
He had a bootleg.
People, I was talking about an event. It was DVD. It was quality. It was the DVD. So I don't know what you're talking about. It was advanced copy.
That's what's up.
So what happened was I remember one night I was chilling watching. Dude walks in. He was like, and the screen was on the other side of the store across from the register. I was just chilling on the desk. Dude walks in, looks at me. He looks at the thing. He's like, man, is Matrix Reloaded? I was like, yeah. Is that out yet? I was like, no. He's like, oh, man. I was like, all right. He's like, can I get a whatever hell game he was asking for? But that was crazy. I was actually working at EB Games when the brownout in New York happened. Like
the brownout?
2003, whatever year it was.
2002,
whatever.
2004.
I was working there.
No, time out. Why do y'all call it the brownout?
I don't remember.
Because it happened for days.
Yeah.
New York City got hit with this really, really bad power outage, and I remember that.
I remember the power outage, but I'm just curious as to the name brownout. Because in South Carolina, we were calling it a blackout. So I'm just trying to figure out why you all in North Carolina, in New York, were calling it a brownout.
I mean, is it technically a blackout if it happens during the day?
Oh, okay. So it's just referring to the time of the day.
It's just saying, it wasn't completely blackout.
I still call a blackout a blackout no matter what time of day it is. That's just
I was already, at the time that it happened, I had, now see you remember this, I had the PS1, the small one, the one that came with the screen that flipped up, a little off-white joint. I already had that behind the register. I was already playing Gundam Battle Assault 2.
Bet, great game.
I was already playing that. Power went out. I was like, oh, I'll see what happens. I just kept playing my game. Dude was like, security dude was like, hey, we shut it down, whatever. I was like, all right, close it up. So I'm driving home, Meadowbrook Parkway. it was like not moving. It was like bumper to bumper because everybody was trying to get on the southern state. So like once you pass the southern state, it was clear sailing because nobody was going fucking Freeport. So, but the wait to get down there was crazy. I pulled out my PS1, man. I put that joint in the middle console of the car. Everybody was just stopped. I was like, well, I'm gonna play some Gun and Battle Assault too. Like, man, it was some good times. Some good times. I ended up getting fired from EB Games.
Hey,
I wonder why.
Oh, well.
I got fired twice.
It was the only time I've ever been fired from a job, and it was so long ago. I don't even tell people about it. I don't even put that I worked there on my resume anymore. That's how long ago that shit was.
Yeah, that's how you treat days. I mean, jobs where like I know I'm not putting this on my resume. I'm not putting no 2 weeks in. I'm just leaving, bro. I don't care.
Only job I got fired from was from Best Buy.
God.
I remember I was working at I was working at the well, I don't even name the store I was working at, but I was working at the store, and basically there was this day you know how sometimes you just don't feel like going to work. I'm the guy that don't go to work when he don't feel like going to work.
Every day.
Me too. That's why EA didn't get along.
And so I had one of them days, and I called, and I'm like, you know what? You know, my car's not doing that well, and I'm going to go ahead and take care of that today. And the guy was like, well, can someone give you a ride? And I was like, nah. I was like, my car's the only car at the house right now, and I have to wait a couple of hours for someone. He's like, well, just give us a call. I was like, well, I'm probably just not going to make it today. He's like, you know what? Don't worry about coming in then. I'm like, all right, cool. And I remember I had my uniform on because I was kind of still deciding if I wanted to go, but I was dressed, I remember. And I Hulk Hogan that shirt and sat down and played Halo for the rest of the day.
Yes.
I decide like every morning when I wake up, do I want to go to work? Like in a split decision. I'm like, bro, do you really want to go to work? You just want to roll your ass back over and just call it a day.
It be like that sometimes.
I mean,
Halo,
I
started
get that
playing.
Same feeling when I would work at jobs, but I would still get up and go to the job. Like I never said that to myself and was like, I'm not going.
When I worked at EA, I legit like if I didn't go to work, I'm that guy that shows up the next day like nothing happened. I'm just coming to work chilling. How you doing? You know? Where were you?
What it is with me is I don't really have a button like that. So if I'm at work and I really don't feel like being there, like everybody's gonna know I don't feel like being there, and I'm not fucking with nobody that day. And I'm gonna let people know that, whether it's coworkers, whether it's customers or clients or anything like that. Like I'm gonna be letting people know that, and so I'm like, all right, well, this person that I am today is not gonna work for the workplace. So, I'm gonna smoke one and jump on the Xbox today and just call it a day.
Got to.
Yeah,
it'll work. Exactly, and that's part of why I'm an entrepreneur. I can on certain days I can just go, you know what, I'm not doing this today, and then just handle myself and do my I guess what everybody calls self-care now. And those days when you actually take those days, it makes where your regular days are a lot more productive because you're not making yourself work. Right. You know what I'm saying?
While we're here, EA can make a better game if they actually like paid attention what happened at work, because we work for 30 minutes a day and watch YouTube for 7 hours. FYI. I'm hating on it. I'm trying to make them change stuff now that I'm gone.
Terrible.
What was you doing there?
Watching YouTube. That's how I got addicted. That's how I got addicted to podcasts, because I need to
that's it.
And podcast the trick. No, honestly, like the little bugs and stuff you gotta find.
Yeah.
You gotta do like 40 a week. And with a new game, you can find 10 in an hour. It's like you find 10 in a day, oh, you good. Like you can work that first hour, done for the day. But when you find them, you just can't put them in at the same time. Just wait 30 minutes, put one in.
You write stuff down and then add it in later on?
Mm-hmm, just add it in later. Change the timestamps, all type of stuff. I don't know. So yeah, that's why the game sucks, because nobody's working.
Sounds about right.
Let me ask you this. Was there anybody there that was just like going way too hard and just being like, yo, I found like...
Well, the people that's actually trying to like go up in a job and like get promoted, this and that, or they going hard because it's competitive. It's super competitive when you get to that point. But me, I just wanted a job. Like I was in college or like end of college. I'm like, I'm just trying to get work, bro. We're not getting paid major bucks, so I'm just here. It's just a job for me. It's not like I'm not trying to be the head of this or the project lead or this and that, because the project lead didn't even, first of all, I mean, the project lead, you can't be a project lead on a game and suck at the game. I'm sorry. I couldn't take the Madden project lead serious.
Exactly.
We had a Madden tournament in there. I was a new kid. They were like, oh, you ain't play this game. I know all this and this. I'm like, bro, you can't beat me in Madden. And they had a tournament. I think it was like 60 something of us. I don't think I won by less than 21 that whole time. Man, that new kid cheating, man. He cheating. I did lose the live tournament. The game is some shit. It wasn't me. It was the game. But the Madden tournament, I'm like, bro, I can't even take y'all serious. All y'all suck at the game. Like, wow. I see why the game broke. Like, I see why. Yep. EA rant for the day. EA rant, Lexus rant. Where else did I work at?
That explains those angle glitches, but let's not get into that.
No, I do work at a school, but I can't rant on them just yet because I'm still there.
Okay.
Still there. But a kid did tell me he was born after 9/11, and that's just weird to me.
Damn.
Like, he's like, yeah, coach, I was born in 06. I'm like, what? 06? How were you born in 06? Like, how is that even possible? What do you mean?
Crazy.
That's weird.
Side note, Halo, the original Halo's hard as shit on Legendary. I didn't remember because it's been a long time since I went back to revisit it.
Mm-hmm.
Shit's hard as hell on Legendary. But I'm going to get through it, though.
I think
somebody's going to join me eventually because it is co-op. It's 2 players.
How many hours of...
It didn't go to 4-player co-op until Halo 4, I think.
Halo 3 wasn't 4-player?
I don't think so. I might be wrong, but
I don't think it was co-op. I remember the multiplayer was 4 players, but
I think 4-player.
No, the campaign's co-op at least.
It's always been 2-player, but I think 4-player started with Halo 4.
Oh, okay.
I think.
I mean, I can't remember.
So eventually somebody will have to hop on there and feel my pain.
Let me know.
Because once I get to the flood.
Do y'all think I have in my lifetime?
What'd you say?
How many hours of Halo do you think I've played in my lifetime?
0.
I was gonna give him at least 2.
Nah, I think he probably had a little stint where he was playing. I'm gonna say 20.
Somebody's right. So you kind of figure out who's right. Y'all should already know that answer. I've never ever in my life played a Halo game.
Really?
I believe that.
Nope. I missed the whole Halo wave.
It's coming back.
If you're new to it, it's like if you go back and try to play them, you can be like, these games are trash.
It's gonna be rough.
That's why I haven't done it, because I know it's not gonna.
Just wait on Infinite.
If you
Infinite
don't remember,
looks
it's
good.
gonna be rough.
Yeah, the feeling's not there, and you're older.
Yeah. Infinite looks really good.
I'll say this: playing Combat Evolved on that Master Chief Collection, it doesn't not hold up. All right, it's not. It's just as long as you go into it with a certain. Just as long as you understand that there's no,
not the graphics.
There's
man.
no
It's
ADS.
the mechanics.
You can't ADS.
Yuck.
Because that ADS button is how you throw grenades. That left trigger, that's the grenade button on Halo. There's no ADS.
All day.
The only ADS is if you're using the pistol or the battle rifle, and you press in the left thumbstick, it'll zoom in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only way kind of ADS you can get around.
When did Halo come
which
out?
is why the pistol in the original Halo, it was super overpowered. Halo came out
03, 02?
Something like that.
I definitely wasn't playing no damn Halo then.
Halo is the reason. Halo paved the way for console shooters.
Oh, I know all the history.
Because console shooters were PC people were what the fuck?
It was Doom before that. The only console shooter was Doom.
Oh wow!
And that was the console.
Halo 1 came out in 2001.
Yeah, that was all Doom was a lot of it was PC. Shooters were PC, right?
Yeah, Wolfenstein
right? And then even
Quake.
I mean, Call of Duty was on PS2, but nobody was like taking it seriously, right?
We had GoldenEye.
Yeah, and then
play
that was done. Once
You didn't play GoldenEye?
generation.
No, I see. I did. I still have that.
Oh, I was about to say.
But the control scheme
Jay was about to ban you.
Weird. But it wasn't until Halo that people that play PC games was like, oh, this actually can work with a controller. So Halo is what made console shooters possible. It made it like
makes sense.
Console shooters like taken seriously.
Well, the online portion of it.
Well, not just the online portion of it, but how the game functioned control-wise.
I'm always gonna say that GoldenEye was really like the one. Like,
yeah, but GoldenEye was
first-person shooter can be the most popular game out.
Yeah, but N64 control scheme wasn't it. Like GoldenEye had one analog stick, and that wasn't like. If you go back and play GoldenEye now on the N64, I promise you will not have a good time.
I did like.
I promise you'll be like, oh god.
During this quarantine, sometime a couple months ago, I played it. I was like, nah, bro. Like, nah.
You will not enjoy.
I couldn't even get past like the first mission just because the controls were so jacked up. I'm like, all right, I can't.
Halo, you can at least enjoy because okay, I can. It still has, the modern,
the same basic.
It's a twin stick. I get it. Move the camera, shoot. I got it. The rest of it, you'll be like, because there's no ADS, and like I said, that triggers grenades and whatever. But
you try to shoot somebody and you throw a grenade, you're gonna be upset.
Getting lasered while you just.
But you can navigate it. You know what I'm saying?
I forgot about that.
Yeah, grenades with the left trigger, so there's no ADS in Halo until.
Yeah, I might play. Halo.
I really haven't played Halo since Halo 2. I played Halo and Halo 2. I don't think I played anything past that. I think I played a little bit of Halo 3 and just couldn't get into it.
Are you telling me you didn't finish the trilogy? At least the best portion of the series, storyline-wise?
I was big on Gears already by that point. I was all on Gears. I was beasting on multiplayer and replaying the campaigns over and over again. I was super into Gears.
All right, so this was a great episode of the SGA podcast. Go ahead and close this out, Ree.
We're gonna talk about this.
It's clear that someone needs to go to bed.
Wow. Everybody point at who needs to go to bed.
You didn't even play. What you talking about?
Oh yeah,
he didn't have to. But the fact that you got enough through to not finish the trilogy, that's like watching.
I was also 8, so 7, 8. It wasn't really my choice.
Like I said, I've never really been a big first-person shooter guy.
Yeah, but you played enough of Halo to get. That's like watching the first two Star Wars movies and get half through Return of the Jedi. I'm like,
Oh, don't get me started on my takes on Star Wars.
I'll tell y'all this. I haven't seen anything past Fast and Furious 2 neither. I mean, Tokyo Drift. I don't watch no Fast and Furious.
It's better after that.
Tokyo Drift, the last one I seen.
Bro, Fast 5 is literally one of the best.
That's the second best one for me, Fast 5. You can stop after that though. Personally,
I mean, they're still good after that.
Yeah,
they're
but it's action.
As long as you don't go in with like,
they're not racing.
Oh, this can't actually happen. As long as you don't go with that mentality, then.
But they like superheroes. It's over the top shit. It's crazy. Yeah, but that's what we expect from it.
Spend a lot of money and jump off planes and with no parachutes. But
that's okay though. I'm fine with that because I know what it is. I know what to expect.
I'm there for the cars and the racing.
Right, cool cars and stuff blowing up. I'm there to see what the crazy thing they do this time, the top what they did last time. That's what I'm here for.
I'm excited for this next one coming out. They're supposed to like slingshot around some type of cliff or something.
Yo, I'm here for all of that. I'm here. I'm Fast and Furious got me. I'm there.
I think it was 5 where obviously the bank vault was 5.
The bank vault.
Yeah, the bank vault.
That's 5. But the one when the dude jumped across the highway to catch old girl and like
that
they
was
on the car.
That was 6.
Bruh.
Yeah.
This man
that was 6. That's when you're like, oh well, it's superheroes. He's
caught it in the air and landed
on the windshield.
I have no idea how they stretch stealing cars into 7 movies.
Bro, what?
Well, that's the thing. They're not stealing cars.
They're not stealing cars anymore. It's just
they're superheroes now. Pretty much.
Once they got the Rock involved,
they're government contractors.
Forget it, bro. Once they got The Rock involved, forget it. And
so what are they doing like as contractors? It's like missions and spies.
Yeah, the
like,
government has them do things that they can't
chase people
do themselves.
Yeah,
they basically made it XXX.
Yeah, except they expanded it. They made a team out of it because you got Tyrese and Ludacris in there. Like, bro, it's The Rock and Jason Statham got a thing. They made a Hobbs and Shaw movie offshoot that was actually a good movie. Like the side universe, like, bro, like, Idris Elba was the villain. Like,
He was a great villain.
Yeah, like, yeah.
I'm gonna try to set up a day where I just bang through all of them.
Dope. You just have to just like turn your brain off and just like, yo.
5 is most definitely.
No, 5 is great. 5
These are just popcorn flicks. I'm here.
One of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, like, Fast 5 is dope. Fast 5 is dope.
I don't even.
You know what it is? I'm not really like a big action movie guy like that. Like, sir,
really,
like,
actually,
action when it's like sci-fi action, I can watch that.
I mean,
really,
but like if it's just straight up action, like it's just cars and explosions and shooting, I'm like,
and move on from there. Fast and Furious or Fast and the Furious?
The one.
No, wait, the first one, because remember the first one and the fourth one technically have the same title. It's just that one is the Fast and the Furious and one is just Fast and the Furious.
Fast and Furious is the first one. The Fast and the Furious, I think, is the
why would they do that
after Tokyo Drift?
Well, because the fourth one technically, I don't want to say it reboots the series, but
it was
like,
that
it
was
rejuvenates the series is what it was.
Reboot.
So you can start with the fourth one, but really, if you start with the fifth one, it recaps the entire fourth movie.
Is there like a box set or something available somewhere?
Of all the movies.
Oh yes.
I'm gonna get that a shot. Oh, let me ask you: are all the movies worth watching?
I mean, for me.
I mean, to me, yeah.
Because if I watch one of them and one of the movies and I'm watching and it ain't nothing but
if you watch Tokyo Drift, then you can watch all of the Fast.
You watch Tokyo Drift
for real. Seriously.
I mean, that's why I didn't watch them after that because I watched Tokyo Drift and was like.
But if you made it through that entire movie, then
it gets better. Those movies get better after.
Trust me, if you watch Fast 5, you're gonna want to watch the rest of them.
That's true because that was the movie. They're like, oh, this has changed, like definitively, and they have their direction now.
I mean, they even make it known in the movie. They're like, we ain't popping, we ain't stealing cars and stealing radios and DVDs anymore. Like, this is
a full-on action. We're like action
heroes. Haven't you seen 7? Everybody in the world saw that movie.
And why haven't you finished Halo 3? Let's get back to that.
This is when Paul Walker died?
Yeah.
Y'all making Fast and Furious sound like what happened to Saints Row. Basically, after Saints Row 2.
I guess it gets better.
Saints Row was basically, it was just hood shit, and then the second one was just hood shit, and then 3 came, and it was like, there's aliens, and there's the president, and there's all this, and it just started
pretty
going
much. That's Fast Furious.
That's pretty much what happened.
It gets more and more over the top. It's great.
I also have to watch
great. Driving the movie through the
bro, they took down a submarine.
And a plane.
And a plane.
Is Star Wars Disney? This might be done with.
Yeah. Now it is, yeah.
All right. I might need to get Disney Plus.
Go ahead, Plus.
He's going to need to get into my Halo replays so we can stream it. But he needs to get on my playthrough so he can actually get through Halo 3. Because I understand how you miss, like, the end of the game was like the most epic moment in the Halo series. And he's just like, oh, I didn't play it.
I think it was, so I don't remember which one it was. It was like you was in this area or whatever, and there was this like a huge invasion.
Bro, like, you gotta be more specific than
the first game. That was the flood.
Right.
The flood, thank you. That's what I was trying to remember.
That was the first game.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I remember. And then past that, I played 2, but I really, what it was with 2 was I played multiplayer a lot, and I didn't play through the campaign. And then after that, I was just like, it's just another first-person shooter.
You always gotta play the campaign. I still
put it
play
in that
campaign
box.
in Call of Duty.
As a matter of fact, this Modern Warfare, I haven't even touched the campaign yet.
I just don't have time for campaigns and shooters anymore. That's my only problem.
I mean, but Call of Duty's a 2-3 day play. Like,
Halo.
Yeah, but you get extra, or that's how you get extra, like double XP and certain weapons and stuff like that. When you beat each mission each level, you get that stuff. But I like it.
Okay, so there's a reward for it.
Yeah, there's a reward for each mission. But the story is actually pretty good. Like it's not like It's not
It's
like
not Modern Warfare 2 probably, but
yeah, like it's.
Oh,
it's
and
a
that
pretty
means you
good
didn't play Halo Reach? Oh my god. Yo.
he's losing his mind.
Halo
now
Reach
ODST you can skip ODST.
I mean, you could skip it, but for the lore purposes, you really could still play it. But Halo Reach, that's arguably the best of the newer games by far. Like, it ain't even close. Like, anything after 3, like Halo Reach is like the pinnacle of Halo after 3. Like,
but you don't know anything
because
about
because it tells the story of what happened on Reach before Master Chief got to Halo originally. It's the prequel for the original Halo.
You know what? We'll talk about that later on. I have an idea. I'm gonna run by you later on.
Please, and I'll probably say yes. If it involves you playing with me Halo, then yes, because that's the only way this.
I just spitball it on here since you and I was planning on doing a little bit of an offshoot of a podcast.
Oh, what's up, Aaron?
Let's do that on the Twitch.
Y'all got some pause and to do in here. Y'all was wild. Y'all said some wild things. Ree was like, as long as it's you playing with me, and he told me I'm just gonna spitball, and it just got a little weird. Got a little pause, got a little hard pause in there.
Real men don't say pause.
Shit.
When did that happen?
Or somebody say, if you think it's gay, you were gay before you got here. That's my coaches tell me. Oh
man,
you thought you was gay before you got here. That's a good point. Maybe
dang, that's a smart man.
Hilarious.
Anybody
got anything else?
Is Star Wars and Star Trek, are they beefing? Is that like a thing?
Beefing? Well, they're not beefing.
But the
fans,
they just go over which one's better than the other. That's
so it's like DC Marvel is.
Nah,
well,
not like
I mean
because
like,
you got to remember because Star Trek is TV and movies, but Star Wars is like movies, books, and other stuff.
Well,
but
I mean, Star Wars has TV shows.
Well, now
they do, but it's not the same. Like Star Trek's TV series is like
back in the day, Star Trek is really founded on the TV. Like,
right.
And then they had those movies that were good, and then so.
I couldn't tell you which is what, but I just know
that's
Luke
kind of a
Skywalker
thing. Yes,
and someone in one of them.
I'm not a fan of the newer Star Wars movies, so watch those if you feel like it. But
what do you mean you're not a fan of them?
So episodes 4 through 6, then watch 1 through 3,
4 through 6,
and then after that, you do what you feel like doing after that.
Wait, so you prefer 1 through 3 instead of 7, 8, and 9?
No. I said watch 4, 5, 6. Then watch 1, 2, 3, and then whatever you do after that, you on your own.
You keep watching because Force Awakens is fantastic.
And if you stop after watching 1, 2, 3, then you've already ruined the series for yourself because you're on a bad note.
Yeah, Force Awakens is great.
Actually, don't spoil this one because I'm actually gonna watch Star Wars one day.
If they didn't make anything past episode 3, I would not be disappointed.
I'm sorry, what? Don't do that.
Because now the newer movie, as a matter of fact, we gonna make that the first topic on the next one. I'm gonna leave because this is gonna run for a minute if we get into that.
All right, Aaron, you got a week to watch.
And you got a week, man. Get on 4, 5, 6, then 1, 2, 3, and then
why would you start 4, 5, 6?
Because that's just the way. That's the way. Because when you did it,
there are two ways you can. Because the way the series originally came out, episodes 4, 5, and 6 came out. Because he didn't have episode 1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3 are prequels.
He didn't have numbers on them originally.
Right.
Because they didn't know how well they were going to do. So the original was Star Wars: A New Hope. They didn't have, he didn't know where they were going from there.
And all
right.
That.
But once they got popular and they became a trilogy, then they were
another 20 years down the line, then they went back.
All right, well, yeah, but then they went and they were like, okay, well, let's do prequels, and then they got numbers. So it was like, the originals will be 4, 5, and 6. And then the new 3 I'm gonna do will be the original 1, 2, and 3.
Look, just to keep it in chronological order, just watch it 1 through 9.
Nah, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't listen.
Don't do that.
Don't listen to him.
Watch it because you're getting the bad ones out of the way.
No.
Build up.
All right, so I'm gonna say it like this. Because 1 through 2. So I'm not gonna call because you just called them the bad ones. I wouldn't say that. I'll say 1 through 3 is not as good of an experience as 4, 5, and 6 are.
Listen,
but they are
in comparison, it's a shit show. Okay. Don't do that. Don't listen to him either. Episode 3 was all right,
though.
But Phantom Menace and Clone
The
Wars.
ending of episode 3 is very iconic.
All right, so we're gonna stop there because we're gonna get into the spoiler range.
But if you watch it on Disney Plus, they'll give it to you in order anyway. In the right, they have it literally listed
in the order to watch
in
them.
order as it is.
Is this the Darth Vader shit, huh? He in there? He in there?
Yeah, he in there.
I bet. I'm good at it. I have I just know Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader.
All right, let's start with 4.
There you go. That's all you need to know. Yeah, start at 4.
Is somebody's father. That's
Star Wars, the first one, Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope.
Just watch them. Just watch them in the sequence that they were released. That's the easiest.
All right, so 8, 4, 3, 1, 6.
Yeah, that one.
Exactly.
But you gotta weep.
I'm gonna try to watch it. I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
If it's on Disney Plus, then I probably will. But if it's not,
it is. No. It absolutely is on Disney Plus, and I tell you this because you can go to the top and hit Star Wars and.
Hey, the easiest thing to do, when you're about to eat dinner, eat lunch, eat breakfast, whatever, just cue it up, and while you're eating, just start watching it while you eat. That's the easiest way to do it.
Man, trying to tell me how to watch movies now.
That's how I fit it in. When I don't have time, I'm like, look, let me just cue it up while I'm eating.
But I literally have nothing but time, so
there you go.
Just
start right when we get off of here. Just start.
That way we can put C's blasphemy.
Nah, but I'm gonna tell you one last thing. The movies is long as shit, so just make sure you got.
They're not Lord of the Rings long. But
don't sit down at the end of your day to watch the movies.
I just watched.
Have you watched the Harry Potter movies before?
2 hours.
Oh yeah, Harry Potter.
I
just watched. What's the name of that shit with the Lamar movie that came out on Netflix like not too long ago?
You talking about something Magical Beasts?
No.
What movie are you talking about?
With Al Pacino and what's the other dude name?
Oh, the mob movie.
Yeah, the mob movie. I think the mob.
Oh,
Godfather, not the Godfather. Scarface.
The Irishman.
Yes, I think like 6 hours, bro. I'll be alright.
Is it?
It's not 6.
I didn't watch it. I didn't hear it was. So
it's nothing like.
But yeah, each of the movies is probably about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, roughly.
It's good, but it's like nothing new. That's what the mob movie is getting kind of old because
Star Wars.
All right, we've been there, done that.
Like if I didn't see any like mob movie, probably been pretty good. But just seeing all the stories.
And then if you watch Star Wars and you like Star Wars, you're gonna love the Mandalorian.
Yes.
We're overloading him right now. We're overloading him.
Yeah.
One
step at a time, bro. One step at a time. Star Wars, New Hope.
But anyway,
that's the first one, the New Hope.
A New Hope. Yep. Episode 4, A New Hope.
Oh well, yeah, I did see where somebody tweeted today. That's why, because I saw a tweet today where a dude tweeted like all the Star Wars were named the wrong titles or something, and like he named the right way, and everybody was agreeing with him. I don't know. I just saw like going viral on Twitter. He basically rearranged all the names, and I don't know because I have no idea. I've never seen it. I want
if you can find that tweet again, throw it in the group.
Thanks.
All right.
Yeah,
I know exactly who tweeted it. So he just tweets too damn much. So I have to go scroll down a little bit. But
not really. I don't have anything else.
All right. Well. With that said, it has been another fantastically interesting episode of the Sports Gaming Anonymous podcast. Another good times here with the squad. Appreciate y'all, everybody who joined us. And again, if you watched all the way through this episode 8, we appreciate you as C does shadowboxing.
Oh, no.
Thank y'all. Appreciate the squad. Seriously. Dre, tell the people where they can find us on the internet, social media.
MySpace.
We have a MySpace page. It is not an official SGA page. I'm gonna let you know. You can find
disregard.
So
you can find us on
they send you a DM asking for something. Don't be scammed. But you can find us on Twitter at Sports Games Anon. You can find us on Instagram at Sports Gaming Anonymous. Join our Facebook group at Sports Gaming Anonymous. If you're watching this, you're most likely watching it on YouTube. But if you're not watching this on YouTube, check our YouTube channel out, Sports Gaming Anonymous. Like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff that YouTubers say. We all Twitch on our own personal channels. We'll soon get actual Sports Gaming Anonymous Twitch page up. We will soon be streaming on YouTube as well. It's going to be the same page, Sports Gaming Anonymous. So if you have any questions, hit us up in the Facebook group, send us a DM, comment on our YouTube videos, check out all of our YouTube videos. They'll be pinned somewhere up here. You'll see a little box somewhere in here. And yeah, that's it for right now.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you for joining us, and we shall catch y'all next time, next week. Peace out.
Don't forget to spay and neuter your pets.